Testing one. Testing one, two, three. YouTube is straight into. No, Randy, do you want me to check? You want me to check the YouTube? Mm-hmm. Yep. It says it's one out. And Nate is here, so Nate's the closest thing to a technical person. Because he does all that stuff with Lee. It says we're streaming, so everything you say will be heard on YouTube too. Yeah, and probably recording. So. That's why. Yeah, it said Zoom came on. It said recording. Yep. Hey. Also reminds me to turn this microphone off. This laptop. I mean, the speaker. So you fixed it. What did you do? Did you take notes? Like, this is always the key. Did you take notes? You make sure you take. Yeah. Do it again next year. No, I just didn't realize the stream feed would be perpetual. Huh? It was the same one as last year, so that kind of. So it looks like we need to adjust. But you know, also right now that's live on your YouTube account. Yeah. Can we go to stop it now? We don't work. Well, do we want to go ahead and adjust? Can you make sure it sounds good now? That's you. It's a 1 minute delay, so. Usually. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Are you muted on the speaker?
No, it's so unbelievable because we're talking in the background.
Audio settings.
There it is. You just walk up. Yeah.
Okay, again, when YouTube works, I'm
So we need to adjust. Do we want to go ahead and adjust that camera, or wait till tomorrow morning because it's not getting the full TV?
Oh, like you want to use the TV? Yeah, we can fix that
Getting a little more excited now.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We were putting out some additional signage to help people find this location, so thank you for bearing with us for a few minutes. Thank you for joining us today for the Pilot Pitch 2025 final presentations. I am Mary Lois White. I'm the Dean of the College of Business here at LSU Shreveport. And we are very excited to host this again this year in the newly named Davis Business Engagement Center. This event would not be possible without the generous support and sponsorship provided by the Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program. So thank you to Dave Smith and the entire EAP team for their time, energy, and the prizes, of course, that you provide to support us. At this time, I'm going to ask the provost to come up and give a couple of remarks before we get started.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you. I sound like this because I'm from London. I always, when I open my mouth, I always see people going, what the heck? But anyway, it won't go away. So thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for coming. This pilot pitch event is an example of what we're striving to do here at LSU in Shreveport, which is to connect students with the expertise, not just our faculty, but our community partners, to engage in experiential learning opportunities. So I know that the cash prizes are important. Nobody would deny that. But I want to make sure we all understand that the real value and the continuing sustaining value is for students to learn from faculty and industry professionals, those who mentor these students through this full semester. So let's give them a round of applause of thanks. So, pilot pitch finalists, as you make your pitches this morning, make sure you remember and you know how impressed we are with your work, how proud we are of your initiative in taking this journey and pursuing these ventures. So, best wishes and thank you.
Thank you, Provost Taylor. So we have 9 finalists who will begin their presentations shortly. Before we get started, I want to specifically thank the Pilot Pitch Organizing Committee, Dr. Mike McDaniel, Lee Chambers, Jackie Bakud, and Sarah Mazer, who's not in here right now, who also helped with recruiting students over the summer. We actually really this year spent a lot of time working with new student orientation previews to try to get students interested in this idea early on, so they may not have all actually gotten to the final part where they submitted all of their deliverables to participate, but they have ideas for next year and know how this process works. So we're looking at this as a multi-year pipeline so that by the time they get their pitches ready to go and be a finalist, they're in great shape. I also want to thank, of course, our judges. We know that this is a big time commitment for you to come out here on a Friday morning, so thank you to Julie Milam, Terry Moore, Mario Chavez, and Amanda Flynn. And of course, our mentors, E.P. Burgoyne, Mr. Chris Farrell, Mr. Luke Lee, Dr. Min-Sun Kim, Dr. Imran Khan, Dr. Stephanie Dunn, Dr. Mehdi Darbin, Dr. David Fowler, Dr. Amin Saleh, Dr. Mahdi Bajestani, Dr. Vikram Sadia, and Dr. Mike McDaniel, who also served as a mentor, in addition to helping to organize all of these events throughout the entire semester. So, and we want to thank all of you for coming out here to campus today, for those of you who are visiting with us today, to support these finalists. So, the 9 finalists will each have 8 minutes to make their pitch, which will then be followed by 5 minutes for a Q&A by the judges. And then we will make sure that they have timers up here to sort of keep them on track so that we can assist them. So we went through this last night at tech rehearsal, but just a reminder, this front table is where you should be keeping your eyes open. So again, our judges, Julie Milam, Senior Financial Analyst at EAP, Terry Moore on the LSUS Foundation Board, and also with Merrill Lynch, Mario Chavez, CEO of MRSA Tech, and Amanda Flynn, who is the director of the Small Business Development Center, which is currently housed over at SUSLA. So again, thank you, judges, for coming with us today. So we have 3 undergraduate finalists who will all be presenting on campus, and then we will have 6 graduate finalists, 4 who are presenting in person and 2 who will be presenting online. So as we get started here, our first undergraduate finalist, please welcome Paige Schultz, presenting on the Nurture Nook.
Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for coming out. My name is Paige Schultz, and I'm founder of the Nurture Nook, the portable mother's room that every event needs. 13 months ago, I had my beautiful little girl, and I was determined to breastfeed. Thankfully, I was able to. However, it came at the expense of socializing and memories that I could have made, because getting out as a mom of small children is very hard, and doing it as a breastfeeding mother adds an additional layer of stress. Between trying to find a clean changing table that isn't half broken, to locating a quiet space to calm a meltdown, and my personal struggle, trying to find a private space to breastfeed. I started to become isolated, overwhelmed, and uncomfortable in public, so I just opted to stay home. And that's when I realized this is a big problem. There's a lack of dedicated lactation spaces in our area, and we host so many festivals and events here that moms are forced to choose: nurse or pump in a hot car, an unsanitary public restroom, or just stay home. And I hated that I felt that way, and I didn't want anyone else to feel that way. All of these feelings inspired the Nurture Nook, a mother's room that's portable, furnished, clean, and more importantly, to me, private. The Nurture Nook is thoughtfully designed by a mom for moms, with touches from comfortable seating to sound machines and lighting. It's a place where mothers and caregivers can come to nourish, refresh, and recharge, and get back to the event fun without having to leave. Our target customers are event coordinators that are looking to enhance the inclusive family experience, and mothers and caregivers 22 to 38 years old. Why now? This is an untapped market. Like I said, coming across a dedicated lactation space is extremely rare. I've only ever found 2 in my life, one in an airport and one in a hospital. Neither are conducive for everyday life. This leaves room for us to grow and improve. We successfully launched at our first event in September of this year, and we received real reviews. People coming up to the booth that had older children that wished that they had something like this when they were younger. And also had people reach out from out of state asking how to get this set up in their area. We heard how amazing, perfect, comfortable, and useful that this was. According to Visit Shreveport-Bossier, there are over 350 events annually just in our city. 65% of those are estimated to be family-friendly. That means just hitting 5% of the market is 1 to 2 dozen events that we can serve our community and the mothers and caregivers that reside here. I firmly believe that the Nurture Nook should be a free public service. And because of this, I've built a revenue model that is the perfect blend of rental fees from event coordinators and venues, sponsorships from local businesses, fundraising that I've already started doing myself, and donations from the public. Like I said, this is an untapped market. There's really no competition out there. The main one is the Mamava, which is mainly located in hospitals and airports or private employers. But compared to the Mamava, the Nurture Nook is budget-friendly. A smallest Mamava pod starts at around $10,000 and can go upwards to over $30,000. But the Nurture Nook, I can fully furnish and outfit for a fraction of the cost at less than $3,000. It's also easy to transport and set up. I can go out to an event, put the Nurture Nook up, and tear it down and come home all by myself. But thankfully, my loving husband typically tags along with me. It's also a warm and nurturing environment because we customize it to events. So in the springtime, it might have floral touches and fans because of our weather here. And then in the fall, there might be a cozy blanket and warmer lighting. Compared to the Mamava pod, as you see on the right, which is a hospital sterile-like feel, it's not that comfortable, and it doesn't have everything you need. But I'm not focused on the competition, I'm focused on the community. According to the 2025 Medela survey of 3,000 women, 81% said that they had a pump or nurse in their vehicles, and 55% said they do not feel supported in public places. And these numbers were too large to me, and it broke my heart because I knew exactly how they felt. But 2 out of 3 are more likely to visit a public place if it offers a dedicated lactation space. So not only are we supporting breastfeeding mothers by reducing stress, we're increasing their mental health and healthcare costs, and in turn, event attendance and satisfaction is raised, which ultimately generates revenue for our area. Our market and growth strategy is focused on 4 main things. Our event partners and sponsorships, which I've already obtained several for local events. Fundraisers, which are active and getting in orders and donations as we speak. And workshops, which are going to be nurture nights. I plan to host a nurture night once a quarter. And these are where women can come for fellowship and to refill their cup. Third is social media and email campaigns. We're already active on social media. I've been reaching out to vendors constantly, and we have a website up. And last is our gift shop and concessions. As you see in front of you, these are options that, things that we offer in our concessions. They're just gifts that are encouraging and supportive, and we offer it as a pay-what-you-can booth. So we have diapers, wipes, essentials, snacks, anything you need, and it's a take what you need, give what you can. They can make donations, but if they have a need, we want to fulfill it. Our team is small but dedicated. I myself am founder and operations manager. I have a background in sales and have a passion for this mission. And my husband Kyle has his master's in finance, and so he serves as CFO and setup lead to help with logistics. For the financials, we have a humble start, but we expect to double our revenue by year 2. As you can see, expenses also raise because I have a lean strategy to reinvest directly back into the business and the communities that we serve. To expand our reach, I'm seeking $20,000. This capital will allow us to obtain 2 additional pods and fully furnish, host 2 nurture nights, and start moving the needle on creating a luxury version. That's an enclosed trailer style I want to have. Of these funds, half will be used towards product development, and the other half split between operations, marketing, and our outreach program. In order to ensure we're moving in the right direction, I have a few milestones for year 1. Since majority of the events are on the weekends, I want to capture at least one of those per month. With each event, 5 sponsors would cover the cost and allow us to offer supplies, and also host 4 nurture nights, which is 1 per quarter. But more than just the numbers, this is about impact. We want every mother that walks into the Nurture Nook to feel seen, supported, and loved. The foundation that I've built this business on is the verse Isaiah 66:13, where God talks about loving his people. And he states, "As a mother comforts her child, so I shall comfort you." And every mom deserves to participate and feel comfort. Please join me in nurturing the nurturers, 1 nook at a time.
Paige, great job.
Thank you.
You did a great job. I can tell you're very passionate about this, and that definitely helps. So I have a quick question. Are you a nonprofit or are you a for-profit entity?
So we are currently in process of getting a nonprofit. We already have the EIN, and we're registered as a nonprofit in the state, but we're waiting for the IRS to like recognize it.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Hey, Paige, and it's going to be surprising coming from me. I think you got a great idea, right? And not only, I'm very grateful that your husband's supportive, but you identified a market, grandfathers. You know, we're sitting down there and we're seeing our daughters at these events, and we're impacted as well. So my question, outside of supporting the idea, and kudos for the communities that you wanted them to be able to use your product even if they couldn't give. How long do you plan to keep that as part of the business, or do you, at some point, scale down the funds because the expenses are going to keep rising, and just don't want people to take advantage of something that's fabulous. You brought it, it's needed, but still, you got to cover the cost there. So.
Yes, so how the sponsorships work, so for example, an event tomorrow, I have sponsorship money that has been raised. They pay, that's a leveled system, so it starts at a seedling, $25 will get you a social media shout out for your business.
Okay.
The next level is $50 for a shared sign, and then, and social media, and then the $100 will get your own sign at our booth saying we're sponsored by this business supports you. And so those costs go into funding the store. And then we've had people that typically they do want to give. If it's not, it's kind of like an honor system. And so I've seen a lot of success with honor systems in our area. But it is something that I plan to have like a dedicated fund for. So we'll take a portion of any of those, of like any of our funds just for the store.
Okay.
Paige, I think this is fantastic. Looking at everything that you've done, you have a firm grasp on the market, the analytics of the finances. It's wonderful. Looking at this, you're already in business, and it's super cool. I see this growing very fast. I like the nonprofit idea, but I see this as such a need that it's going to quickly turn into a for-profit business. I personally sit on Downtown Streetboard Unlimited, and we're the board responsible for Mudbug Madness. I can easily see venues and events paying you $500 to $1,000 just to have multiple of these pods set up at the locations. So it's going to quickly grow, so you may need to anticipate your nonprofit maybe being the supplier for the items within the pod.
Okay.
But the rental area, I think you're onto something, and I think you're going to gain some quick capital on this, and you may want to transition to a for-profit style.
Okay, thank you.
And that's great advice. So one thing just a little suggestion, because you are in business, you might want to contact and get in touch with a CPA, because you could be a for-profit entity with a nonprofit arm that would have the donation of the supplies, or at least the ability for them to be a free service.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I absolutely love the idea as well. I'm an old new mom. I have a 2.5-year-old, and I remember staying at home as opposed to going and being uncertain, how things would turn out. So I love the idea. I noticed that you all already have an expansion plan. You mentioned the enclosed trailer.
Yes.
How does that differentiate between the product that you have now?
So depending on where we're serving, in higher-end communities, they may want more of like a luxury style trailer option. And so what I've looked into has been like the 6x12 enclosed trailers that just like hook onto the back of a truck, and you outfit them, insulate and everything, and have it in there. And it also, we could do a little bit more of like the air conditioning in there. Because what we do now, they are fans. We have a generator if we don't have access. And so we still can supply that, but it would just be more of a luxury version. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paige. Our second undergraduate pitch will be by Caden Mayu, presenting on pedal pursuits.
Good morning, y'all. Thank all of you for being here today. My name is Caden Mayu. My mentor is Dr. Kim right there. And my pitch is Pedal Pursuits, which we bring flight to your backyard. Currently, I'm the only member of the team for this company, though that is expected to change as the company grows. Now, who can tell me what this is? Anyone in here? That's correct. This is the 1903 Wright Flyer, considered to be the first aircraft ever made. Here at Pedal Pursuits, we have the same passion for aviation that the Wright brothers did so many years ago. For any of you who ever dreamed about leaving the ground on your own power, this is the company for you. Our company is built on the invention and distribution of what we call HPA, that is, human-powered aircraft. Our mission is simple: to make flight affordable and accessible for all people. You see, there are two problems in the aviation industry today. The first is cost. Affording a pilot's license can be anywhere between $6,000 and $20,000 or more, depending on where you get it. Additionally, the Federal Aviation Administration requires a minimum of 40 hours of flight time and training, but realistically, this is anywhere between 50 and 70 hours, and that's a lot of time. Secondly, air pollution is a major concern for those who are environmentally conscious. Aviation comprises 10% of all transportation emissions in the U.S. and 3% of the nation's total greenhouse gas production. It may not sound like a lot, but this adds up, and that's why I'm here to tell you that Pedal Pursuits does have a solution. I asked AI to imagine what that solution might look like as a product and given the two issues that I described previously. And here's what it came up with, and I'm surprised to say it's not that far off the mark. My solution is to distribute do-it-yourself kits for a human-powered aircraft that attaches to your bicycle. Now, this lowers the cost of flying to a one-time investment of up to $500. Makes flight a whole lot more accessible, reduces carbon emissions by 100% while promoting time outside and physical fitness. Now, each of our kits are going to come with 5 main parts. We have the nylon flight surfaces, the aluminum frame, belts and cables, a few wheel and axle machines, and lastly, the propeller. When fully constructed, our kits will resemble and fly very similar to a paraglider. Additionally, each of our kits are going to utilize 3 core components. First, the rear tire drives the propeller through a series of wheel and axle machines. Secondly, the handlebars rotate the rudder through cables that run alongside the bike frame. And lastly, wing flaps are deployed, and this is what pitches the aircraft up, and this is done through the bicycle brake. Now, I included a few wing design ideas I had. The rectangular wing is ideal for low-speed flight with high lift, and the triangular wing is a faster adaptation. And then, of course, different dihedrals, all of which affect aircraft performance and maneuverability. Now, judges, I'm going to hand this to you to look at it real quick. Pedal Pursuits is going to utilize 3 main consumer segments. First are what I call the FA Prey, a young demographic with a small income facing the cost of affording a pilot's license. Next are the diehards, which is an older demographic with a large income who spend that money on leisurely athletic activities, particularly cycling. And lastly are the daredevils, which is a mix of young and old with a varied income, but all of which who are interested in extreme sports. Now, FA Prey are going to be found at universities with flight degrees, airports, and aviation museums. Diehards are going to predominantly consist of cyclers, but also include runners, triathletes, and swimmers. And daredevils do not exist in our area because there are not many extreme sports. Therefore, we will target them online through associating our brand with such things as energy drinks, posting engaging content, and creating a strong brand community around these like-minded individuals. Now, we have 4 business models. First is the pay-as-you-go. In this model, we will offer the option to rent a pre-constructed HPA for a one-time use or to try it out. Next is the bundling model, in which we will bundle several different HPA models we make at one discounted price. Then we have the freemium model. This is a future option for our company to truly fulfill our mission to make flight affordable and accessible for all people. In this model, we will offer a baseline HPA model that is given to you at little to no cost. However, this is differentiated from our standard model, which is priced at $500. What makes our company truly unique is the fact that we will be the first company to bring the HPA from the experimental stage into the introduction stage as an economic product. Additionally, we will truly make flight accessible, affordable, and green, which no other company can boast about doing. Speaking of other companies, we do have 3 competitors. First is Quicksilver, the leading manufacturer for light sport and ultralight aircraft. Woody Valley specializes in paraglider wings and hang gliders, and Zenith Aircraft is a leading manufacturer for kit airplanes. As far as the criteria above are listed, Pedal Pursuits has an edge on every one of these companies. And this shouldn't come as a surprise. What we do is we offer flight to all people, regardless of the cost, their experience or training, their location, and their age. Now, unfortunately, revenue is going to be sparse the first few years, and this is because a lot of emphasis is going to be put into creating a functional and safe HPA. Emphasis on safe, too. However, once we create this HPA, I imagine demand will rise rapidly because we are entering a new product into a new market, and with that rise in demand will come a rise in revenue. Revenue, by the way, is one of our primary metrics, how much money the company is bringing in. But this also includes partnerships, which is how many influential individuals and organizations we find that share our mission and help us to increase our market share. And lastly is the amount of HPAs we make and sell. This is not limited to one line of HPA, but includes every model, every subcategory, and every product we sell, even if it's not a flying machine. And the community will be impacted immensely because flight is now affordable and accessible. Commute is enhanced, health is increased, and most importantly, knowledge is gained as we pioneer a new frontier in aviation. Here are my references, and I'm only asking $500,000 to just kickstart this process. Thank you all very much for being here today, and please consider investing in my business if you will.
Okay, first off, this is awesome. Typically, people start a business because they're going to solve a problem or they have a passion. So this is obviously a passion.
Yes,
it
sir.
solves the problem of the barrier to entry on cost for aviation. However, you want to do this for a reason. Are you currently seeking aviation, or what made you decide, I want to build a bike that flies?
Well, this is a young passion of mine. I've had it for a very long time. And I'm aware of the cost of getting a pilot's license, but it's not limited to that. There's also the cost of affording an airplane, which that is a lot of money. And aside from cost, which, I mean, you have to rent spaces to keep your airplane, you have to rent out a hangar, and it's very impractical. But this also includes regulation, because as I mentioned, the FAA is it's a very heavy regulator. It limits a lot of what pilots are able to do. And part of that passion that I have for flight is to be able to fly at your own leisure without worrying about how much it costs, not having a place to keep it, or being heavily regulated, but it truly being a free thing that you're able to do. I hope that answers your question.
It does. So you obviously have a knowledge of the airfoil and the mechanisms with the lift and the drag.
Yes, sir.
You have the elevator that you've created within the middle to gain the lift to go up. So how do you have experience with surfaces with lift and drag?
Well, like I said, this has been a passion most of my life, and so I'm very well acquainted with the 4 forces of flight, with the camber of the wing, with dihedrals, and the way that the structure of the aircraft affects the way that it flies. And so I have extensively studied a lot of aircrafts and how they fly and different ways it works. There's a whole world out there in aviation. You have airplanes that have a tail configuration, you have airplanes that don't, you have airplanes that are literally just a flying wing, and all of them have different ways that they fly. And so I have become aware of what makes different airplanes fly, and I want to experiment and see what we can do with different designs.
So on that topic, you're going to have to overcome the drag and you're going to have to gain the lift. What is the weight that these wings can bear? How heavy can somebody be to utilize your product?
Well, it's going to take a lot of time and resources to create the first HPA that we're going to be marketing to people. And so I would like to create a standard model that can pretty much lift anybody up. Now, this will, of course, we're going to have safety mechanisms, probably going to have an electric motor in there just in case. Mm-hmm. We're going to have parachutes and harnesses to attach people, but I want to make a HPA that pretty much anybody, regardless of weight or athletic ability, will be able to fly to some degree with.
This is awesome. I'm going to enjoy to watch the R&D. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is
Thank you.
definitely really cool idea. He didn't tell you he flies planes, so I saw your,
Oh,
I
really?
saw his eyes light up when you started talking.
I'm glad,
But,
I'm glad.
cool idea. My son's in aviation at Tech. It's definitely very, very expensive. Do you see, for the students that may choose this as an alternative for that route, opportunities for careers and revenue generating with your product?
Well, absolutely. Of course, I don't know what will come of the company. Like y'all have know already, this is a passion. And so it's not about the money. It's not really about where I'm going to take it. It's, I want to do this. And so that may lead into a giant career path for people. That may lead to a company that people can invest in and make money off of. Of course, I don't know, but that is definitely a possibility.
Awesome. Awesome idea.
So kudos to you for being self-taught on all things that you've learned about aviation. I would say that many people in your generation do not take that initiative, so I think that's a wonderful first start as you go down this path. My question is on the regulation side. How high are you, at what altitude are you imagining that this machine would take someone? And depending on what that is, what are there rules on, airspace and things like that?
I'm really glad you asked. That is a really good question. I don't expect this to be a very, like airplanes go really high. I don't expect this to be that. I think this is going to be more of a leisurely sort of product. I don't expect people to go very high with it. It's going to be built out of a bicycle. So as much power as you can generate from that, we're probably going to be cresting a little higher than treetops. And this is going to be for leisure. Now, we may expand if we do more experimentation and research into creating a prototype that is capable of going faster and higher and more like an actual airplane. But this is more along the lines of just having fun, fly around your backyard, go as high as the treetops, and that's where we're going to start at least. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if you will, you mentioned the energy drink industry, right? And Daredevils, that really caught my attention. What would be your pitch to them? Because Monster Energy, Red Bull, you start thinking extreme sports. So tell me what your concept is there.
Well, I want to attract adrenaline junkies, people who want to do something extreme. And so taking a bicycle, putting a wing on it, riding as fast as you can, perhaps going over a cliff, something like that, something that attracts people who want to do extreme things. And so if we could market it that way, that would definitely attract that target market.
Right.
Whereas something diehards are more interested in the fitness part. They want to see how far they can go and how fast they can go, maybe do races with it. The FAA are simply looking for just a way to fly outside of getting a pilot's license. And so the Daredevils are more of an extreme market, and we're trying to attract them through doing very extreme things with the HPA, which we're going to design HPAs that will meet their needs, that can take extreme, not abuse, but do a lot of maneuverability, go really fast, and things similar to that.
No, thank you for that, man. And
Thank you.
you. That's a great idea.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Kate. And you basically have the two extreme personalities here, where I am the very risk-averse one, and that one is apparently not very risk-averse. So my favorite part was it will have an engine just in case. Our final undergraduate pitch will be Zamoria Wesley presenting on Community Complex.
Good morning, everyone. I am Zamaria Wesley. Have any of you ever had your plans affected or even canceled because of weather changes? Just by a show of hands. So the majority of us can relate, as I anticipated. Well, that's why I would like to introduce you to Community Complex. Be outside while being inside. Our purpose is very simple: increase community engagement and involvement. We want to provide a safe space for the community of Shreveport-Bossier to be able to come. But we face a major issue, especially here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We get a lot of rain. The humidity and the heat is overbearing, And the bugs, they are not a friend of mine at all. I know we all can relate to that. The solution, provide a multi-use space to where you can host your own events. We will host our very own community events as well. And if you want to just get the kids out, have a little fun. No one likes when the playground is all wet and dirty. You can't do anywhere there. And we surely don't want to bring those muddy shoes inside. What will we be offering? Our products and services consist of room rentals, product sales, monthly entry subscriptions that start at as little as $5 for individuals, and event hosting. So say, for instance, you wouldn't like to attend our own community events, that's fine. You can rent out our space and host your very own events. From small room rentals to large room rentals, we are offering a multiplicity of things that you will be able to get from us. Our target audience consists of mostly millennials, Gen Z, and families who are looking for that year-round destination, a safe place to host their own events, their own classes, their own fitness activities. Now, community complex is much needed in Shreveport-Bossier. Here, just in Shreveport, our crime rate fluctuates by the year, so it is never an estimate, and most residents do not feel safe in Shreveport. So, community complex, we are striving to bring that crime rate down in order to increase community participation. Now, just in the Shreveport-Bossier area, our market size is $22.59 billion. Now, that is a lie. In overstate, our whole market size in Louisiana is over $250 billion. This lets us know there is enough space, room, and demand for something like this, a recreational, fun, year-round space for safetyness. Our business model. As I mentioned before, we will generate revenue through product sales, monthly entry subscriptions, and more that I will mention later on. Here are just a few examples of how we will generate our income throughout the year. In comparison with our competition, Community Complex checks off all of the marks. So let's talk about Altitude Trampoline Park. At Altitude, there is limited activities to do if you just want to jump around. There is nothing else to do other than that. The space is very limited, and the pricing can fluctuate depending on your age, family size, or how long you want to participate. So if you don't want to keep going back and forth to add an hour and add an hour, it can become very expensive and hassle. But Community Complex, we have a flat rate, $5 just for individuals and $25 for families of 4. Our space is, we have a lot of space, and we have many activities, large parking, and events. Speaking of impact, the heart of our project is community engagement and involvement. We want to bring the community together, to bring more people together, to bring the family together, and to bring the kids together. Now, how will we reach our target audience? We will reach our target audience mostly through digital marketing. Especially in this digital age, many people are only on their phones and in social media. I know a lot of us can vouch for that. We are always on our phone, whether it's Instagram or making a little TikTok. We are always on that iPhone. Through this, we'll offer deals and information to bring in our specific target audience. And that is how we will reach them. The team. Hi again, I am Zamaria Wesley. I study marketing and business management at LSUS. I am a graphic designer and business owner of 5 years. Revenue to expense. In the first few years, our expense will exceed our revenue, but there's no worry. We anticipate a high profiting future due to our affordability. How will we measure our success? Our success will be measured through reach, our monthly active users, and how much revenue we generate by the month. Investment ads. We are asking for $205,000. These will come from applying for business loans, applying for business grants, and investors who are interested in our mission. How will we use this fund? The majority of our funds will go to leasing and remodeling, as I will show you guys in the next slide, to remodel a plain and dull office space into something fun and exciting. The proceedings of our funds will go to salaries, wages, and operating expenses, along with more things. Here is a potential building of use that we are considering to have our community complex over on Year Drive, if you guys would like to take a look. This building looks kind of dull, kind of boring on the outside, but through our renovations and remodeling, we plan to turn this into something big, exciting, inviting, and community-filled. This is Community Complex. I look forward to answering any questions. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Zamora, that was great. You're a very good speaker, so good job.
Thank you.
So I want to understand a little bit more about what you're imagining the inside of this complex would look like. So tell me a little bit, like, if I'm someone, is it a place where I'm going to have my grandchild's birthday party, or is it a place where I'm going to have a family reunion get-together or a business meeting? Tell me a little more about what you're imagining the inside of this space would look like.
This is a great question. I anticipate someone asking this question. When you first walk in, we will, of course, have a sign-in. And when you actually get to the multi-usage area, there will be artificial grass, plants and trees to where it kind of feels like an outside field. There will be a track that goes around it, and then on the side of that will be the individual rooms. So for instance, if you want to host a birthday party, you can rent out one of our small or large rooms to do that, or you can rent out the whole space and do your own big one. I will say, because this might be a hazard, we do not allow any grills or anything like that. Everything else that deals with outside is great, aside from smoke, because that is a hazard. So does that answer your question?
It does,
Okay,
thank you.
Great.
You're definitely a great speaker. I love the energy, and I love the idea of wanting to do something for the community. Thanks for clarifying some additional things that you may use for the facility. I was going to encourage you, you know, that's a big building, and then you could do a whole lot of things with it. Maybe look into, instead of leasing the building, looking at ways that you can maybe purchase it and get into real estate as well, and increase your options over the long term in your business. But it's a great idea.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So first off, Miss Wesley, your speaking skills are extraordinary. So I know you're going to go very far at this, and I'm right in line with Amanda. What I wrote down on here is, I think you should purchase that building and then sublet the exterior spots for like a snow cone stand or a barbecue joint, so that if they can't bring their grill in there, they can still have the experience of the outdoor barbecue, and you can capitalize on subleasing the exterior portions by allowing those guys to pay you the money. So then you can not only make money off the people coming for the interior space where you do the grass and the experience, but then you have a snow cone person that's paying you a monthly rent, you have a barbecue place that's paying you a monthly rent, and you can capitalize on all that to cover your expenses for utility payments. But I love how you definitely have the problem identified, you've researched the crime, you've researched what families want, and you're providing a solution. So this is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I do want to say that I did consider like having a outside area for people to be able, but it will have ventilation. So kind of it wouldn't be the same idea as the inside, but it will have an open area to where you can have your barbecue and your cookout, but it wouldn't be a hazard to anybody else. So just like your idea, but thank you for that.
No, finally, we're going to be 3 for 3. We all got to, you should buy the building, right? Because it gives you so many more options, and as you're communicating so great, that you can do the outside spaces. You might can find that in another location, and you're just not tied down to that one location. And as Mario said, you have vendors that are paying you and to own that building while you go out and grow your building, and you're not tied to that one location.
Right.
But other than that, listen, great presentation.
Thank
Love
you.
your energy.
Thank
okay?
you so much.
Thank you so much.
I did want to, with community complex, we'll have a main complex for sure. And then later on, like as we grow, I did want to venture out to different states and maybe different cities in Louisiana with not probably as big because that would be the main headquarters, but kind of maybe half the size of our main headquarters so that people all around will be able to enjoy community complex because it's not just for Shreveport Bossier, it's for everyone. It's just starting here and it will venture out sooner or later.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Zamoria. And I just want to say again, all three of those presentations were undergraduates. And so I am so impressed, I will say, as a dean, it warms my heart to see such great students here at LSU Shreveport. So I'm going to ask you to all, please give them all a round of applause again. And now we will move on into our graduate students. So our first graduate student presentation is virtual. So please welcome Max Hallbrook presenting on Surprise.
All right, pilot pitch. How are we doing today? We feeling good?
Morning.
Okay. Good morning. Let me just pull up the presentation here. Okay. Can everyone see clearly and hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, my name is Max Hallbrook, and I am the founder of Surprise Birthday Adventures. Before we dive in here today, I want you to think about a time in your life that you received an amazing birthday gift. This was perfectly wrapped, it was meaningful, and it made you feel a sense of joy. Now, as you got a little bit older from that experience, maybe you started to have kids, and you started to realize how much prep work went into creating that amazing gift-giving experience. And maybe as you got a little bit older, you started to be invited to more kids' birthday parties. And pretty soon, every weekend, you found yourself on the dreaded birthday party circuit, where every weekend you're going to 5 to 6 birthday parties and trying to figure out, what do I get for these kids? How do I wrap it? How do I make it meaningful? That's the problem that we're trying to solve here today. So to illustrate this, really, I try to look at this from 3 different lenses. First, from the perspective of the parents. If your son is invited to a friend's birthday party, you panic and you think, what do we get them? So then you run out to perhaps a local toy store. Maybe there's one toy store left in your community and you bring your kid along for the ride. And you go shopping with your kid to try to find a present for their friend. And they say, but mommy, why can't I get something that I like here today? What do you mean I have to get something for my friend? And it becomes difficult to teach them generosity and the value of gift giving. And then finally, at the end of your shopping experience, you talk to the toy store owner and they say to you, quite frankly, it's really hard to drive margin and it's really hard to scale. So we face tough times. That's exactly what we're trying to solve for here today with Surprise. So here's our vision. Our vision is that we want to create a birthday party experience inside of a toy store. What that unlocks is, for the parents, it creates gift-giving convenience. It makes it so simple and so easy because we handle the gift selection and the gift wrapping. For kids, it teaches them practical generosity. No more abstract concepts of thinking about what it might look like to give a gift. No, they give a gift directly to the birthday kid and pick it out just for them. And for toy store owners, it innovates the toy model to ensure that they are pillars of our community for years to come. So what does it look like in practice? Well, here's a mock-up. As you can see, it combines a toy store on one side with an interactive birthday on the other. So essentially, a story plays out on the screen, and our amazing staff and actors help the kids run through the story. At various points throughout the story, the kids come across what are called surprise points, in which they are given gifts that they can then give to the birthday child based on what the birthday child is interested in. This makes it very simple for parents to give meaningful gifts but shows kids a more practical way to be very generous. So operationally, what does that actually look like? How do we get to that moment of the party and the gift-giving fun? Well, beforehand, guests of the party contribute online to what we call the birthday pot. Then our surprise staff will select the toys and wrap them very nicely. And then finally, all the birthday kid and the guests have to do is show up on the day of the party and have a birthday adventure with our staff. So we monetize this full process from 3 endpoints: the technology of the gift-giving portal, the product sales of the toys, and the services as well for hosting the party. So who's our target customer? Well, we intend to start with that high-income metropolitan area family because those users might be most willing to sort of provide funding and payment for some of these pain points around wrapping and gift selection. But we also see a huge early adopter opportunity in local schools and local clubs and organizations to host really meaningful events for their guests and their members. So why now? Why is it so important to start this concept now in 2025? Well, as you can see from some of the stats on the screen here, the toy industry is absolutely booming. And not only that, the gift card market is booming as well. What this highlights to me is that the need for convenience in giving a gift card or contributing online to a birthday pot has never been more important than ever. And finally, this idea of a children's entertainment center is going to continue to exponentially grow as we hit the 2030s. So what's the market opportunity for a business like this? Well, if we look at it just from my local market here in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, the math equates to about a $27 million a year annual opportunity. And when we bring this nationwide to all of the local communities across the country, including Shreveport, it's about a $3.5 billion opportunity annually. So how does our business stack up to the competition? Well, if you look at Chuck E. Cheese, Build-A-Bear, Dave & Buster's, they're all great places to have a party, but none of them are quite as holistic as what Surprise offers in terms of toy selection, gift wrapping, and entertainment all included. So here's our financial projections for the first 2 years. On the left side of the screen, I tried to break it out by the hard numbers, and the right side of the screen, I tried to make it a little bit more visual just to showcase how we plan to grow and expand over time. As mentioned, with our 3 monetization engines of the technology, the product sales through the toys, and the services sales, we expect to see a pretty decent profit margin in the first year or 2 with the plan to franchise and expand nationally over time. In terms of milestones, you can see a couple of our major milestones for the first 2 years here. Really, within those first 2 years, we want to start the flagship location, hit break even fairly quickly because of our monetization engine, and build up that sustainable margin so that we can jump into franchising and bringing this experience across the country. From an investment perspective, we're targeting about $800,000 for working capital in our first 2 years. What's really important to me as the founder is to ensure that we provide bootstrapping, and I'm really putting my money where my mouth is when it comes to building such a innovative business like this. Not only that, we intend to seek bank loans, as well as angel investors who also believe in this vision of creating precious moments that matter for our guests. In terms of uses of the funds, I think anytime you start a local retail establishment, you're going to need product, you're going to need to ensure you're paying your employees very fairly. I think a lot of it's going to go into R&D because of how tech forward this concept is, but ultimately our goal is to then franchise this out and make sure that we can scale this up across the country. So from a teaming perspective, our goal is to keep it lean and mean. I'll be running the store as well as operations, but hiring people in our day-to-day to help run and manage the store, such as party facilitators and actors. Ultimately, we're really trying to keep the toy store model alive. Toy stores may be a little bit scarce these days, but we are really passionate about keeping it around in our communities for years to come, to create the memories that really matter the most for our families. So without further ado, I want to thank you for your time today. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to chat and connect with like-minded people looking to bring fun, bring joy back to our birthdays. Thank you very much.
This is a cool idea, Max. I see where you're going with it. I highly recommend and I think appreciate the franchise model on this. Franchises have a lot of legal hurdles. So if and when you go down this path and you look to do a franchise, make sure that you bring on a very good attorney that knows the specifics about franchising. So that's just one piece of advice. One question I have, though, is on the gift selection. What type of research or how do you plan to outfit these stores? Because, I mean, when I think of the old Toys R Us when I was a kid, there was a massive store, it was a big box store. I mean, you literally had rows and rows, thousands of square feet of toys. And I could be wrong, but I'm not imagining that this has that large of a footprint. So how are you planning to ensure that you've got the perfect gifts in these event spaces and experience spaces?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. I really picture it as kind of like a more boutique sort of toy store feel, in the sense that the gifts are curated towards interests and developmental goals. So it's more of like, we would ensure that we have building toys. So if a kid is really into Legos and Lincoln Logs, we have those sorts of toys in the store. Or, for example, if there's a girl who's really into dressing up and unicorns and fairies, we have those sorts of things like costumes and puzzles and really broken down by category. So it's a great question. We want to keep the footprint lean and mean and pretty small to start with, but ensure we're hitting the various categories of toys so everyone can find something they enjoy.
Hey, Max. First of all, thank you for remembering. Well, Julie mentioned, Toys R Us. I went back to the Toy Fair days, right? And yeah, that's kind of saving, an industry that was once forgotten but was so important. And I love the fact that you were talking about with the actors, the interactive, and you identified with the high-income group, they would be more likely to spend that time in there because that's something totally different than just the traditional party. So I'm totally in line with what she was saying about franchising, because the first thing when you put the numbers up there was we will eventually get to franchise, and the first thing that went off in my mind, what's going to stop someone from doing or duplicating what you're doing right there at that moment? So I hope you go to franchising a lot faster in with regards to what Julie was saying. But it's a novel idea. I think that it's going to hit the ground running. You will be making money from day one, as you well know, with this if you stay with that audience. So great idea, man.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Max, this is amazing. As a father of 3 boys, I can tell you I've been through a lot of birthdays, and every kid or every kid that we have a birthday for, you got your staples. You're going to go bowling. You're going to go to a skating rink. What next? Trampoline park. Now what? So and you hit it on the head. From 3 to about 12, you got to figure out a solid 10 birthdays to do, and you can only do, like I said, those 3. So you've capitalized on the market. I think for some advice on Julie's question, you're going to have those staples of the kids' age groups and the different various toys, but have a condensed version, but also have a kiosk screen there where you partner with Mattel and different toy stores to allow the kid to walk up and pick what he wants. You can capitalize on gaining commissions off of Mattel and whatnot, and they'll just have to wait. The kid will get that mailed to them. I actually opened up a birthday joint 10 years ago for kids. We had an outdoor airsoft park. And so I know that each kid, we were looking at about a $17.50 gain per child. So have you assessed how much it's going to cost per kid for each birthday party?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the breakdown, I mean, if you think about it, we're probably going to be charging for each party. We'll have different tiers of birthday parties. So from our most common tier, it'll probably be about $1,500 to $2,000 in terms of what we're charging. In terms of per kid, I would say it's probably going to be a little bit higher than the $17 figure. I would say closer to 25 to 30, all up there.
Max, you hit
It's
the
something
nail on
we're-
the head. It's $25. That's so you've done your market
Yeah.
research. We came in at $17.50 because we try to be a little bit less, but you're right on the mark with the trampoline parks, the bowling alleys, the skating rinks at $25 a kid. And I like that your $800,000 ask is right in line with the lease agreement that you're going to need for each location. With the, I'm assuming $100,000 build out. My only question is, are you going to anticipate selling food there? How are you gonna navigate the food? I know you're gonna do cake, but what's the food idea, or have you thought that far yet?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for food, I think about it as it's kind of like, so here in Pennsylvania, here in Philadelphia, the way it works for like a brewery is that like a brewery can serve beer, but they can't actually serve food in the brewery. So a lot of times they'll partner with local restaurants to bring food in. So that way there's food and people can, they can have a beer, but they can have food. So similar idea, obviously not alcohol related, but like I would want to partner with local businesses so we can get local stimulation of the economy involved and bring food in rather than having the extra expenditure and operational headaches of having a kitchen on site.
Max, that's right in line. You can capitalize on making a commission on those guys that partner with you on the online site to book the parties as well and bring the food in. So wonderful ideas, Max. I have high hopes for much success, and I got one kid left, so I'm looking forward to coming.
Thank you so much.
I'll say the same. As you were speaking initially, you were solving all of my problems I'm anticipating in the next couple years. So I was hoping more that you'd be open by April 2026 here in Shreveport. But great idea. Thank you for the presentation.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Our second graduate student presentation is here on campus. Please welcome Chimi Bugu presenting on the Endu project.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Oh, sorry, I have to adjust this. All right. Can you guys hear me? All right. So, hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Chimi Bugu, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about Endu project. Our goal at Endu project is to help businesses and startups maintain a competitive advantage through robust project delivery. And this is because most companies tend to manage projects inefficiently, and this ends up affecting their bottom line. And the reason for that is mostly, the first one is lack of awareness. So a lot of companies have not connected the dots between inefficient project management and profitability. So usually when a small business has a project come up, they just assign an existing employee to go get it done. And what that employee doesn't have is the background, the skills, and the knowledge to actually get that work done. And so due diligence isn't done, and the projects are not managed efficiently, which ends up affecting the bottom line for the company. And of course, it's not reason that 70% of project fails. And that failure is usually seen in schedule delays, so the projects come in later than planned. Poor quality, so when there's no due diligence, it's ultimately going to lead to poor quality products. And cost overrun, so the projects usually go over budget. And schedule delay and poor quality also tie back to cost overrun, so they do add additional cost to that. So before I go further, I want to make sure that we're all aligned on the definition of a project. So a project is a short-term endeavor taken to deliver a product or item within a specific scope, cost, and schedule. And there are three main types of projects. So there's the traditional. So quick show of hands, how many people here thought about a construction site when I said the word project? Okay, thank you, a few people. So small businesses and startups have projects happening all the time. If you're changing out an equipment, maintaining an equipment, putting in a new, expanding your office, that is a project. And that's part of a traditional project. Agile project could be more virtual. So if you're rolling out a software that impacts other parts of your business, if you're launching a website or installing something new, that is an agile project. And then hybrid is a combination of both. So at Endu Project, we're actually creating a project management platform that enables small businesses and startups to deliver the project within cost, schedule, scope, and the desired quality. Our platform embodies the full project management framework for all kinds of projects. And it is AI-powered and has the integration to ensure that projects start from the crucial initiation phase. And this is one area that small businesses and startups are not aware of. So when you start your project out, when you initiate it right, then you go through the full project management cycle and launch confidently. Like I mentioned, our platform is our core service, and we will also offer consultation to businesses that need it, and also project management training to employees and individuals that want to improve and learn more about project management and set them up for success. As I mentioned earlier, the target market are small businesses, so when they save money on effectively delivering projects, they can apply that money to possibly hiring more people, stimulating their community and the economy in where they operate. Startups usually have so many things going on. My fellow finalists here, they all have projects in the works and will actually benefit from my services. So they have so many things going on, so I'm taking away the learning curve of the project aspect of the startups. And then colleges like LSUS, I'm currently getting my MBA with a project management concentration. I know there are some people in my class that have never done anything project-related. So they will benefit from utilizing our platform to ensure that they understand the full project management framework from start to finish. And also, my videos in the learning videos could also be in addition to the professor's coursework. So right now, the project management, and I do the air quotes, and I'll explain it later, but the project management software industry is at $7.98 billion. 4.3 billion of that are being used by small businesses, and I estimated mine at 0.01%, so that puts me at 43 million. The business model is more around a tier-based subscription with annual discounts, and we're also offering a freemium model for the first project. Training and consultation are going to be a one-time fee, and we're also going to have training videos on YouTube, so that should bring in income in the future. Our direct competitors are some of these companies listed, and why I have the air quotes is a lot of these companies are mostly customer relationship management companies and enterprise resource planning. They just tag on project management when they are more like project tracking. Our indirect competitors are these professionals listed there, and our goal is not to get them out of business, but more to augment what they're doing and also saving the small businesses and startup money while they execute their projects. So this schematic shows what Undo Project brings versus the competitors. And I guess I'm going to point out a few things to note. The first is a business case and front-end planning, and then operations handover, the third from the bottom, and project management training. So those are things that will provide that most of our competitors don't quite provide. So my competitive advantage is going to be project initiation. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times small businesses, you don't know what you don't know. So they don't realize that they need the project management. They need to start from the initiation phase to set them up from a financial perspective and ensure that the project is going to bring value. And then going through the integrated planning and the detailed handover. This is where our AI integrated platform is going to help ensure small businesses are actually successful and save money. So we're going to break even by the second year and start making tangible profit by the third year. Pre-launch breakdown is most of the costs are tied to development work. Our investment ask is for $150,000, and that's to finalize a proof of concept. And I do have a short demo for those that are not fully aware of what initiation phase means. And launch our marketing efforts, roll out our training course, and reach out to about 1,000 businesses. We intend to reach them through chambers of commerce, through social media, and through business events. Our funds will be distributed almost half split between product development and operations, with a little part of it tied to training. I'm Chimi Bugu. I'm the founder of the project. I am a mechanical engineer, completed my degree in 3.5 years with a minor in mathematics, so I project manage my degree. I'm also a project management expert, so I have 17 plus years of experience working with ExxonMobil, IBM, and some startups. I'm very passionate about project delivery. The rest of my team is Kim Richards, he's the CFO with long experience, and Chungu Chama. So before I jump to the question, I think I have a few minutes left. So I'm good. Can you please help me click on the link? Project delivery on our platform, we'll start with a business case. So here, the description has been provided, and if you notice, AI auto-generated some potential solutions. Of course, the business owner will have to confirm with their team and move on to the risk identification aspect of it and ensure that those risks are indeed applicable to your project, and move on to IT considerations here and ensure, of course, that your team is aligned with that, or you are, if it's just a one-person company. And then internal stakeholders, identify both internal and external stakeholders, and move on to the cost-benefit analysis, which is a crucial aspect of all projects. So it starts with the project value, trying to ensure that regardless of what the aim of the project is, that there is a value attached to that and the business understands the impact. Then moving on to an initial high-level cost estimate and finalizing with the profitability analysis. And this here is a summary of all the different potential solutions. We're still in progress, but here was a quick view. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Now,
know you're ready
well,
to
this is super awesome what you're building. I know this is going to solve a lot of entrepreneurs' problems. However, for a young budding entrepreneur, they may not have the finances to support this. Is this SaaS going to be an enterprise price, or are you going to do a subscription-based per user, or have you identified that?
So most existing, and guys, forgive my air quotes, but most existing project management tools have a subscription base with the per user, and I've noticed that is very expensive. So even as I use it with my other companies, so I'm actually going to charge per project, program, or portfolio. So it's going to be a tiered subscription based, and it's going to be affordable. So the first project will be free. So say an entrepreneur that needs to understand what's going on can try it out for free and understand the value it's going to bring, and they'll be willing to pay for future projects. So we have if you just want one project, you can get that. If you want a program, that's up to 3 projects. If you want a portfolio, that's up to 9 projects, so 3 programs. So it will be subscription-based with an annual discount as well. So if you want to get it for like a year, because some projects, depending on the type of projects, it could be a 6-month project, or it could be a 9-month project, or it could be a 3-month project. So, so the subscription-based will be based on the project, program, or portfolio.
I really like that idea. Well, one piece of advice, I know Julie and them, they do this. You can capitalize on their future receivables by not charging them up front, but saying, hey, look, I'm going to charge you a 2% fee. So later on, when you are profitable, then you can kind of pay us back for our upfront help that we offered you for giving them access to this platform at no charge. I guess my only question on the $190,000 raise that you guys are going to do, you have a Chungu is your CTO. Does he already have development experience to build software? Or is he going to outsource this back overseas?
So he does have development experience. So he is a software engineer. So he has development experience. So he's actually physically coding as well. And then we do also have a few other folks coding overseas, and that's how we can afford that price.
Yeah, the $90,000 is pretty cheap.
Yeah,
But if he's the one doing it himself, and then he can outsource it overseas at $5 an hour, I think it's obtainable. This is a great product. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So oddly enough, in my former life, I was in project management, implementing like ERPs and things like that, like Oracle, across large organizations. My question, though, is you're targeting startups more or less, but I could see that this could even, someone who's doing a home remodel could use something like this even, for that matter. My question, though, is how intuitive do you imagine this tool being, where there's maybe an educational piece of it? You know, I come from project management, so I know all the buzzwords. When it says, you know, what's your MVP or what is your ROI, and I understand not only how that's calculated, but, you know, what the inputs need to be. Many startup entrepreneurs may not have that background and or just baseline understanding. Are you imagining that as they go through the software, that there's prompts or something that is also going to be educational to help them, guide them through? Because they don't know what they don't know yet, right? And if that's not your plan, I might suggest that you somehow have these very intuitive prompts if somebody has project management background, great. They just click through it and they know what inputs to put. A brand new startup founder that doesn't have a background in project management, they're going to need some hand-holding and or help. So how do you plan to kind of address that?
So that's a very good question, and I do want to point out that I'm targeting small businesses and startups. So small businesses are the big target, and then startups as well. So a lot of small businesses already have projects that they don't know what they don't know. So you're right in terms of what they don't know, what they don't know. So by platform, and I know the initiation phase video was very quick, but if you notice, AI has some prompts. So we do have hints on every single page, like when you get to the initiation phase, and you have to put in the profitability analysis information. We actually have hits pop up for the first time you show up and say, this is what you're going to do on this page. And then when they put in what prompts, the AI can help them suggest things that are related to their type of project. So for instance, if you're trying to, that was an educational platform project, and so AI suggested, try and get videos from here, try and get, you utilize Azure for learning, try and use Moodle for your program. Mm-hmm. So AI is going to just scour the internet and say, hey, these are the kind of things you should think about. So stuff that they don't know, that is where technology within our program is going to help. So these are things you should consider for your project. And by the way, this costs about this amount of money in the US, and we are working towards making sure that it's inclusive to Africa and Asia, where if you want to build a house, well, American houses are built on wood. In Nigeria, we build with cement. So it's not going to be applicable to that country. So now we are trying to make sure that the AI will be inclusive of the location as well.
Got it. I love the idea as well. I see tons of value just in the short demo that you did. I was sort of thinking in the same lines with Julie on the AI side. We have a big push to get entrepreneurs to adopt AI. Do you expect any challenges in getting some of these startups and smaller businesses comfortable almost with utilizing AI so they can get this great information?
I actually don't, but I do understand that there is a lot, like AI is a hot topic right now. I mean, some people are embracing it, and some people think the world is coming to an end. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a balance, right? So at the end of the day, it's not going to take your job, it's just going to enhance your job if you use it right. So for me, like the AI integration, and that's where like the demos kind of show, and I don't know, that was quick, but like the AI actually suggests, and we have like the disclaimer, they say, make sure you confirm this actually is applicable to your project. So we do have that guardrail where we say, have you reviewed this to confirm? So it's not AI fed this to me and then I'm spending all this money on it. No, AI is going to give you suggestions and tell you, you're trying to build a car. Well, just know you need to have an engine, you need to have this, you need to have that, you need to think about this. But confirm with your state, with your regulations, and confirm that this policy actually applies to your car. Right. And so you have to click I confirm. And so, yes, I don't anticipate it being an issue for with utilizing AI, but I do know that, I mean, it depends on the demographic. They might have a little, and if they don't want to utilize AI cars will just go back in the corner and stay right there, and they can do the old-fashioned way, which I did, and if you were in project management, you did too. I sat down and wrote out my project plan. Nothing prompted me. I did all my research myself, so.
It's great. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chimmy. Our third graduate student presentation is again here on campus. Please welcome Bridget Hockey-Hendry presenting Bayou Boxables.
Hi, everybody. Let's see if I can get used to this. I am presenting kind of a glamping site. Anybody that has kids and has traveled with kids knows that hotels don't have a whole lot for kids to do. Campgrounds are, to say the least, rustic. And me being a city girl, it's not where I want to spend the night. I don't like to be on the ground. So my solution for that is kind of a glamping hybrid. I want to take shipping containers and convert them into little cabins with the amenities of an actual bed, running water, and a bathroom, because if I'm traveling with a little kid, I absolutely have to have some place for my child to be able to take a bath. And if we're outdoors, which I plan to have my kid outdoors if I'm glamping or camping, then they're gonna get muddy and they need to be able to have a bathroom nearby. And in the middle of the night, I don't want to walk to the bathroom in the dark. And near critters. In Louisiana, we have campgrounds. We have a tourism industry. We have all of this. We don't have places for you to stay where it'll tell a story, where you are immersed in the culture. My plan is to go after families looking to drive in and have an immersive experience. I'm also looking at tourism that is eco-friendly, event goers. I'm in South Louisiana. This would be on the what we consider the North Shore, so St. Tammany Parish, near Lake Pontchartrain. You can go boating. You're an hour's drive from, if you want to go to a beach, you can go to a beach. If you want to go kayaking, if you want to go to New Orleans, you're right there. Close enough for Mardi Gras, close enough. There's a festival happening now in November, Renfest. People come in from out of town. It's sold out every weekend in the area where I'm planning to put this. In Louisiana, we welcomed 42.5 million visitors in 2023. I want to capitalize on that. There's no reason not to. It's a lot of family visitors, people looking for cultural tourism. This is something that is growing. Glamping is growing. The tourism for having an experience while you're there is growing. We do have the need. You have big box hotels and you have camping. That's what we have. There's no in-between. And there's certainly not an in-between that will have outdoor games, the option of an event space as we grow. All of these things are things that I'm looking to offer. The U.S. glamping market is growing rapidly with double-digit annual growth. I want to be in that market. The biggest competitors we have are Airbnbs, or short-term rentals, state parks, and big box hotels. From that, you get modern comforts from some, you get cultural storytelling from some, family amenities. We offer all of it at an affordable price. My phase 1 plan is to get the land, roughly 10 acres, because I want to have nature trails, with 6 cabins and have the core set up. Phase 2 expansion offers more cabins, trails, and an event space. Phase 3, larger events and a villa-type cabin where if I have wedding parties coming or family reunions and they want a bigger space for family to stay closer together instead of in individual cabins. And that leads me to the streams of income here. The cabins, event hosting, add-on packages, some local partnerships, and branded goods. I've started putting together a coloring book with Louisiana pictures for kids you can put in each cabin. I want to have little libraries in each cabin with Louisiana authors and cookbooks so that if a family wants to fully experience Louisiana, they can use Louisiana recipes and cook a dinner for their family or a lunch or what have you in a little kitchenette that'll be in there. It's a very diversified model in order to get through those times when the income stream is going to be lower. The pricing, I have the single cabins and double cabins and seasonal rates I've researched. I have a big, large spreadsheet somewhere that I didn't put in here for you. I've got add-on options and event spaces starting. As you can see, lots of mock-ups and options for layouts. My phase 1 revenue after the first year or so, not counting the add-ons, is roughly $290,000 with a 60 to 65% occupancy. That's not counting if this actually takes off and I have higher occupancy, so it could be higher. With add-ons, you're looking at roughly 15 to 20% more. I would be doing the development, branding, daily operations. I have a background with marketing and sales, and I'm bringing all of that to the table to put this together. I would also want to have a groundskeeper or maintenance tech as a full-time employee to help me keep up with the cabins and keep up with the trails and things. An operations assistant part-time, and as we grow, I'd like to have a hospitality manager, housekeeping staff, of course. I'll be doing that at first, in order to mitigate costs. And then a retail guest experience coordinator as well, noting that I want to have some items that are branded and I want to offer Louisiana local artisan products. I've gone through a risk analysis for, I'm in South Louisiana. We get hurricanes. However, these are built out of reinforced steel. They automatically offer that mitigation. They are made to withstand the weather, and I have included insurance costs in my ask. Regulatory and permitting, occupancy, funding and cash flow, and market awareness. I've gone through all of it. Sorry, I'm rushing now. And the financial ask is roughly $1 million, which sounds a shocking price tag, but when you consider land and building out these cabins, this is not a terrible thing. And it does have the insurance and legal and a contingency. The snapshot here, the main revenues, the cabin rentals, event rentals, and add-ons. These snapshots for years 1 through 5 factor in the extra add-ons, and so on, the 15 to 20% on top of cabin rentals, and it stays at the 60 to 65%. So again, this is a small number compared to what it could be if this actually takes off. The break even is roughly 3 years at the 65% rate. And keeping it diversified to keep in mind that numbers are going to be slower in some months and higher in others. And that's where I'm at.
I love going camping and I love not sleeping on the floor. So I like your idea. I was going to ask you, did you mention the location or the size of the complex?
Roughly 10 acres is what I want to start with. I'd like room to expand, so I'm also looking at property on the north shore of Louisiana, which is north of Lake Pontchartrain. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the geography. It puts us close to a lake, close to rivers for all types of outdoor activities, and I plan to have the cabin situated to have large, oversized outdoor games. I think I had some pictures in there that you saw. I want to have like this huge, giant pool table that is more kickball style than pool style.
So Bridget, being familiar with the area, St. Tammany Parish
Yes, sir.
and all that, I know that this will work, right? We rode dirt bikes down there,
Yeah.
and people don't want to go to the big box hotel chains. And there's just a larger population than most people can imagine that enjoy being outdoors in Louisiana, coming in from Mississippi. And as you said, you can go to the beach and have all that. And they just want to get away and do something with family, right? Family and friends, and you're capitalizing on this.
That's where it came from. I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
I don't want to go by myself with a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old to a plain big box hotel where there's nothing for us to do, or where I have to then leave the property and go pay so much more money to go to a museum, to go to an outdoor place. I want it all inclusive. I want it all right there.
Right, and so you've identified a market, and sometimes the state parks, they're just not kept up. And if you manage to get it on 10 acres and provide families and young people with that opportunity to spend the weekend, they will use your product. So it's a great idea. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, this is fantastic, Ms. Bridget. I'm going to give you some cool advice that a lot of people don't know. Right now, the state of Louisiana is offering a program to where at the state parks, they will donate you the land. You can go in there, right, at no cost. So the largest cost of any business is absent of the people is going to be the land and the build out. They already have the infrastructure there with the plumbing, with the roads, and they will actually allocate you a plot of land at no cost to you if you do the build out and do campgrounds, which is amazing. So I think if you reach out to Billy, right, and that's going to take most of your expense right out of this scenario. Reach out to Billy Nungesser down. Obviously, you know who that guy is. He's all about Louisiana. He's going to be ecstatic about this program. But they're running that program. They have been doing it for 2 years. They're trying to find investors that will build out campgrounds at the state parks, because exactly what you guys said, the state parks, they don't accommodate. They're not as nice.
Right.
So if you go in there with your vision, and now you have the land and the infrastructure for free at no cost, now you're talking.
Wow.
And for
And
the
Fountain Blue State Park is right there, I wonder.
and they're all over. So this is super cool. And there's actually a place here in Bossier City that builds these shipping containers that you can live out of. They're about $35,000 a piece. However, they're not beautiful and they're not cool. So I got a feeling that you could partner with somebody like that to get the cost down and then make them cool and then put them on the state parks. And you're definitely onto something.
Themed containers. I have done some mock-ups for Storyville, for Pontchartrain Pearl that speak to the Louisiana culture. So that actually plays right into that.
This is super cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know we're quick on time here, but that was one of my questions I wanted to go down is, have you started pricing how much each one of these is going to cost to build out?
Yes.
And
I've talked to a contractor, and I've also looked at the price of purchasing the containers and talked to another contractor for putting the concrete pads down. So what I have in my numbers actually lines up. The contractor that I spoke to looked at my numbers and said, this is about right for what you're looking at.
so what is it per, just for a single? About?
I have to go back and.
That's
So,
okay.
For all 6 of the cabins, we're looking at roughly 330 to 360.
So 50 plus.
Roughly, yeah.
Got it.
Because I want to make sure that they're good for families.
Sure. Got it. Okay.
So just from my own education, how, and we know insurance in South Louisiana is a problem, right? Yeah. How would they classify this?
That has been something that has been gone through, I've asked people, and it seems to be a little bit confusing for how they want to insure it. Do they want to insure it as a campsite? Do they want to insure it as, that seems to be something new, and it's a whole new concept, so that has been a little bit up in the air on the classification for that. But if we're looking at state parks, I would imagine we're going to go to campsite.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Our 4th graduate student presentation is on campus. Please welcome Curtis Alton presenting on RX Connect.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Curtis Alton, the founder of RX Connect. Today, I want to introduce a solution, the first AI healthcare solution to transform the healthcare experience. Our mission is unique. We look at a comprehensive view of how to take the components, the challenges of healthcare for the patient, the doctor, and the pharmacy to provide solutions proactively that elicit and support positive healthcare outcomes. The biggest problem is not even listed here. 10 years ago this week, I started in pharmaceuticals and identified right away there's a lot of gaps. And until this day, I've yet to see a solution that answers some of the biggest and most common problems in healthcare that face every day. What does that mean? Higher costs, slower times to process your RXs or procedures, and nobody seems to have that solution. By proactively addressing these solutions, we take customized guidance with impactful solutions, and the outcome is improved healthcare outcomes. We bucket into 3 categories. Look at the patient, the doctor, and the pharmacies. Each unique, different challenges, different solutions. However, we cater these solutions, next step guidance, proactively to anticipate some of the challenges from the insurance companies, their requirements to make things tough and more expensive. And we proactively provide these next steps. What better way to positively impact the community than to improve the health of the citizens in the community? Couple that with equity and access, providing access to health care where maybe it was abandoned prior because of costs, potentially, And when you do that, that's how we can finally drive systemic change. Taking unique app features, pre-programmed software logic process, along with AI, put that together, and we can create unique outcomes specific to the case to help with our healthcare needs. There are competitors in the market. They all do one thing very well. Most commonly, set up your appointments, reminders, virtual visits, but no one is taking a holistic view to address the actual problems between the three buckets that we mentioned. The market opportunity is immense. Total addressable market, everything healthcare technology, over $400 billion. The serviceable market, specific to handling the hard stuff, the prior authorization, the RX abandonment at the pharmacy, over $70 billion. The CAGR over 37% annually. The opportunity to take a comprehensive approach to address these issues in the market, all my projections after launch are likely very conservative. We plan to launch in the market in 6 phases. SEO optimization, marketing outreach through social media, strategic partnerships, and what I like to think of more along the line is sphere of influence, providing free utilization of our platform for example, pharmaceutical representatives, not to go out and promote the product, but use the resource in that sphere of influence to help influence and break into that market, along with caregivers as well. If they're doing the right thing to improve healthcare outcomes, I want to give it to them. The goal when pricing out the platform utilization and usage through subscription, the logic I took was this. In 1 year of use, it should pay for itself, regardless of the user. For the patient, if they go a minimum of twice a year, it should pay for itself in savings when they go to that pharmacy. For the healthcare provider, the doctor, for the pharmacist, it's almost laughable. Less than $300, including their staff. The idea is get the utilization and get the usage. 6 revenue streams. This gives us that opportunity not only to scale quickly and effectively into the market, but also navigate bumpy roads when economic climates vary and get a little bit tougher. We can pivot and focus slightly different. Year 1 to year 2, growth, revenue and EBITDA, 3x, far surpasses the growth in expense. This allows us the opportunity to reinvest back in to continue our expansion. I'm seeking $400,000. $50,000, I commit myself. $350,000 through grants and outside investors aligned with our mission. 90% of that will go into R&D and hiring the correct team to help bring this effectively into the market for launch. Currently, I am the only one seeking all appropriate advisors to do this within a very highly regulated market so that we can be successful. The best way for you to really envision the story I'm trying to tell you right now is to get a visual representation.
RX Connect, the AI healthcare app, designed to redefine the healthcare experience. Reinventing the healthcare experience starts with the RX Connect app. Introducing RX Connect, your AI healthcare companion. Finally, an innovative healthcare app that empowers the user, tracks progress, provides insights and resources for patients, HCPs, and pharmacies. Quickly connect with in-network providers, in person or virtually, for a primary visit or a second opinion. It's easy with RX Connect. Understanding healthcare can be overwhelming. RX Connect makes it simple. We provide the answers to the tough questions, map out the HCP-directed care plan specific to you, provide your next steps, simplify your medical insurance requirements, provide initiated PAs, appeals, and letters of medical necessity. What's next? Well, don't worry, we'll guide you. Book in-network visits, understand your benefits, and discover prescription cost savings. Set your language of preference and connect to in-network providers specific to your language choice. Don't let language barriers impact your quality of care. Read your HCP's bio, ratings, and reviews to ensure you make the right choice. Book in person or virtual right from the app. From next step suggestions, payer mapping, EOB simplified, cost-saving resources for prescriptions, insurance-required documentation, patient charts, and medical history can be shared between providers. RX Connect aligns the patient, the doctor, and the pharmacy seamlessly, providing a totally reinvented healthcare experience for all. What's next? That's up to you. Download the RX Connect app today and experience what redefined healthcare really looks like.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so my first question is, help me understand, because this app seems very broad, I mean, extremely broad. Help me understand how this is different from, say, the MyChart app or the My Patient Portal app, or even the United Healthcare app, which claims to do many of these things, but specifically for United Healthcare policyholders.
So that's a great example, the United Healthcare app. So they have their own perspective on how to guide, right? With insurances, they're banking on the fact that the complexity of the requirements it's easy to forecast the outcome.
So tell me specifically how your app is different from some of the things that I just I'm curious as how does RX Connect function? Like what is it, how's it different?
So going back to the example specific to United Healthcare, this would take into account all payer requirements. If they have public data, which they all do, it would work through to determine what are those requirements. So not only could you build out kind of almost an umbrella view that influence as it funnels down to, right down to the employer plan, you could, one, proactively determine what the requirement could be, okay? And all of these requirements are to do two things: slow it down, create work on the HCP level, the office level, and save money in the end, because the likelihood of that getting completed, they know is unlikely, depending on the disease state. So how it differs from something like United Healthcare, without knowing 100%, but I'd bet on it, they probably don't provide anything for any other payer. So if you're United and someone else is Cigna, your ability to understand what their Cigna requirements would be, very unlikely, which is fine if it's specific to you, but how about a caregiver? How about the pharmacist? How about the doctor? Because what I can tell you is the doctor probably knows less about your plan than you do, and most people know very little, not because it's complex. So understanding not only how to navigate your own benefits, but the easy example would be, we've all probably gone to the doctor at least once in the last year. If you picked up a script, if it was anything more than $0, it's likely you paid too much. Not because anybody's doing anything wrong, but because likely the resources weren't used to ensure $0. Why? Time, money, resources. So understanding that, $15 is one thing. $1,500 is a totally different thing. Too many people every day pay it because they don't think they don't have a choice. Almost every day when I face a challenge like this to understand, I think about my mother. Luckily, she's not an unhealthy person. However, the few times that there were challenges, I get the phone call, I'm like, you didn't do that, right? It's like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? How many people are in a financial situation that can truly impact their lives? So that's the difference, because United Healthcare likely won't show you how to get that down to zero, because they're banking on that you won't. It's a huge topic right now with all of this, I'm sure you hear, but it's huge. Just coincidence that I'm in this situation right now.
I became a caregiver a couple years ago with my mother, and she does have a lot of complex stuff going on. And so I've been faced with a lot of different solutions like this and understanding the value and the uniqueness. I had a question. So me as a caregiver, would I be responsibility to get this app onboarded with the doctor, with the pharmacy?
Yeah.
Would they have to agree to do that?
That's a phenomenal question. First, everything would be controlled by the patient. It's your data. You do as you please. There's certain parts of this that I can't talk about right now, just based on where I'm at with patents. However, the key is held by the patient. What I anticipate, especially through trials, free trials, through larger groups, et cetera, this utilization will become so valuable. Getting offices, pharmacies on board, especially at this price point, a non-issue, because they'll save this through not needing to utilize certain resources that are much more expensive very quickly. However, the best way is to have all parties involved, because they'll be able to communicate to reduce not only redundancy, but if we've ever had to deal with something serious, especially from outpatient, hospital, somewhere in between, that communication is anything but quick. So this allows instant communication controlled by the patient, not only to remove redundancies as far as tests, how many times you've gone to do this test, go somewhere else, well, you gotta wait because it was only 30 days. You got to wait 60 days before you can go get another test, but you need that test because they want to run it before they give you their expert opinion. All of these things, it's wasteful, and it's putting the patient at a disadvantage, and at the end of the day, it's not improving quality healthcare outcomes.
Hey, Curtis, first of all, thank you for a real-world problem and addressing it. I went to a medical conference out in Silicon Valley, and they talked about this like 3 or 4 years ago.
Sure.
All right. The issue or the question I would like answered, with all these partners, who's going to be responsible for the patient data?
Yeah. Great question. And part of it I can't say, but I can give you enough, I think. So first, the patient is in control. Obviously, they're not going to hold their data.
Mm-hmm.
We would manage that in utilizing technologies that everyone's heard of in a manner that would be more unique, definitely more secure, where not only can they control who sees it, but for how much time.
Right.
So we would manage that, kind of like a information hub that only the keys the patient would have. And they can open that window for a certain period of time, and then that becomes basically just scrabbled, mixed up, chopped up data until that key is put back in place.
Right.
Okay, we're out of time. Oh, really quick. To be an entrepreneur, you got to pick a problem and capitalize on that. I think you're picking the biggest problem known to the American society, hence the reason we just shut down the federal government over it. This is a lofty goal. With greater risk comes obviously greater reward. Just real quick, this is not going to cost $400,000. I was thinking initially 10 million. After the end, probably 50 million. We're currently working with somebody right now that spent about $3 million on an EMR just for a specific subset of the medical industry, and she's paid about $3 to $4 million right now. I don't know how you're going to allow the healthcare provider, like let's take for instance Blue Cross Blue Shield, if they don't have open AI to identify benefits and coverage that's going to migrate over to your platform. That's ever changing every single month. If they don't allow open AI, open API, then you're not going to have the congruent data, and it's going to fail. So there's a lot of holes and a lot of things that I just don't know if those guys are going to play nice. But I would look to raise at least $50 million to get this to market.
So I don't disagree. It could be more. I think where the approach might be a little bit different is if we needed to use open API. What I mean by that is, in order to treat most conditions, unless they're severe, you don't need full patient history. You can build out through input, through outpatient. Those that are interested, you can still help manage, and even with zero data, you can work from now until that script goes through based on all public data. So I do agree. I think there is a hybrid version, and maybe we would be going. It's hard to put an exact number on it for sure, but I don't know if we'd have to go all that way. Yep.
Thank you, Curtis. I think I forgot to mention earlier, we do have lunch. So the awards ceremony is actually a luncheon, and we'll actually start lunch before the awards. So that's why you smell great smells out in the hallway. So our next graduate student presentation is virtual. So please welcome Melanie Capel presenting Centera. Uh-oh. Oh, there she's back. Oh, we probably have video.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Let me just get set up real quick. Okay. Hello, everyone. I appreciate your time today. An unfortunate truth is we're all going to grow older, and most of us will need some help taking care of ourselves. So let me ask you a question. Raise your hand if you'd prefer to age in your home rather than a nursing home. Now, I can't see you all, but I'm assuming your hand was raised. My name is Melanie Capel. I'm the founder of Centera, and our mission is to make that choice, aging at home, possible for more older adults. I'm going to start with an overview of a program I'm going to be referencing throughout this presentation. Not sure if you've ever heard of a program called PACE, but the Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly provides comprehensive medical and social services to low-income adults so they can stay in their homes for as long as possible and remain independent. While PACE is a great program, like many in healthcare, it has some technology challenges. I'd like to start with something personal. So before becoming a PACE consultant, I started out in the enrollment department of a PACE program. Back then, the tools to do my job efficiently just didn't exist. We were manually tracking referrals, opportunities, and priorities in Word documents and Excel sheets. Despite having a talented team, we constantly missed opportunities, didn't have great communication with our referral sources, and didn't really know where to effectively prioritize our time due to lack of data. Since then, I've worked with a number of PACE programs across the country, and they all share the same challenge, a need for better technology. It's our vision to equip PACE programs with the technology they need to not only optimize their enroll process, but to also increase healthcare access to seniors. If you've ever used a customer relationship software, you know it can be incredibly time consuming, not only to implement, but to learn and navigate. And there always seems to be some type of hidden cost associated with the features that you actually need. Next thing you need to spend $60,000 on a software that actually works. Well, that's if you're using Salesforce. To make sure we're on the right path, we spoke to 10 different PACE programs across the country, and they've confirmed what we've seen firsthand. PACE programs are tired and frustrated with expensive and generic tools that just aren't built for PACE. And so that's why we're developing Centera, a HIPAA-compliant CRM designed specifically for PACE programs. Centera gives teams the technology they need to track outreach efforts, referrals, and turn data into actual actionable insights at every level. Centera brings everything PACE teams need into one platform. It allows users to track prospects, capture referral source details, and generate reports that give leaders a clear view of performance from the team level all the way down to the individual rep level. As you can see, this is kind of a demo, and I'm happy to kind of provide more information about that after. These are our target customers, so PACE programs and their decision makers, and this is a list of the various decision makers that we would be prioritizing within these PACE programs. So some of you may be wondering, why now? PACE is booming right now. So since 2019, the number of PACE programs has increased by 45%, and the industry is expecting an increase of 50% more PACE programs over the next 5 years. Historically, because this has been a smaller and niche industry, an organization hasn't really been interested in developing a PACE-specific CRM. Large companies like Salesforce, Epic, they're focused on those larger opportunities with health systems, health centers, and because they're so large, they're slower to adapt to the actual market needs. And that's where we come in. We're agile, we're specialized, and we're ready to fill this gap. Our revenue model will comprise of a seat-based pricing plus a one-time implementation fee. Here's a look at the CRMs PACE are currently using. As you can see, Centera stands out amongst our competitors in founding team experience, affordability, and the purpose that it was actually designed for. It's simple. We need to give PACE programs the technology they need to help seniors age with dignity. With over 86,000 seniors already being served by PACE programs, we want to collaborate with programs and help drive this number with programs, communities, and states as well. So now that we've talked about community impact, let's talk about the go-to-market strategy. We're going to focus on 3 key initiatives. Number 1, relationships. Number 2, marketing. And number 3, large PACE programs. First, given my current relationships in the PACE industry, we can make an immediate impact for PACE programs. The second, with marketing, we're going to plan to lean heavily into the digital strategy, which includes LinkedIn and search engine optimization for our website. Lastly, large programs. So large PACE programs provide a higher revenue opportunity, which is why we're going to be prioritizing those the most. So now that you've heard our strategy, let's meet the team. With backgrounds from Apple, Wells Fargo, and Merrill Lynch and PACE, our team brings tech, finance, and PACE perspectives together. So PACE programs can have the right tools to enhance the enrollment, support of seniors, and to help these individuals age with dignity. So here's how we project Centera will grow over the next 2 years. So as you can see, year 1 is definitely modest in regards to sales as we pilot with PACE programs and we build credibility within the industry. Year 2, we anticipate gradual growth due to these initial relationships, brand exposure, and those partnerships. Now, year 3 isn't listed here, but we anticipate a 50% growth by referrals, testimonials, and our targeted marketing efforts, and also just by the data that we're seeing in regards to PACE program growth, we anticipate that 50% will actually be viable. So to track our progress and our impact, we'll focus on a few key metrics. These are our measures of success, and this is how we're going to track and measure growth, adoption, and client success with our partners. These metrics show the potential of Centera. Now let's talk about where you can help us make it a reality. We're seeking $61,000 in capital, which some will be bootstrapped by myself because I believe in this, and the rest to come from investors and grants to cover the first 2 years of operations. Today, I'm asking for your investment to help us take the first step in developing Centera. While this venture isn't about generating billions or lots of millions, it's about impact for me. I am deeply committed and dedicated to the mission of PACE and helping older adults age with dignity in their homes. I'm willing and I'm very passionate about making sure that these PACE programs have all of the tools that they need so they can have the opportunity to provide the care to those seniors. As you can see, most of the capital that we're anticipating that we need will go towards pre-launch development, operations, and contingency. So your investment today will help us start developing our software so we can be one step closer into helping these PACE programs make more of an impact. Thank you for your time and consideration. To many, Centera looks like another software, but I see it as a large movement that will redefine how PACE programs are enrolling seniors, making healthcare access available to these seniors, and who knows, maybe someday someone you love may rely on a PACE program to stay safe and age with dignity. And I invite you to be part of that change today. Thank you.
I love the platform. In the SBDC, we have a nationwide network where I think we use maybe 3 different CRM softwares from privately held companies. So I like how you're aligning this with the PACE program, and I can definitely see how with your relationships and then, with you understanding the process and developing the platform for that, I could see how it could work. I wasn't exactly sure how much you dedicated toward marketing. I couldn't tell in the pie chart, but I just encourage you, to definitely allocate enough startup capital. It did seem a little bit low to me, but you do have the relationships that may be able to supplement that a bit. But great idea, and thank you for educating me on the PACE program. I'll be looking it up for my own family.
Yes, please do. Actually, there was a recent RFP for Shreveport, so you should be able to see a PACE program over the next 2 to 3 years. But kind of back to your point about marketing, we do have roughly about 13% in our kind of thought about funds in regards to how we can market to this industry. Because it is so niche, that's kind of a blessing and a curse, if you will, where if you have really good relationships and because it's very much a word of mouth industry where if someone's really enjoying the product that you have, they're really your best advocate. And so I do agree with you though, in regards to marketing and then just making sure that we have all of those strategies in place and the funds to do so.
Melanie, thank you so much for this presentation. I agree with Amanda. I thought the upfront ask was low. However, looking at your team that you've assembled, it's quite impressive. So if those 4 players are bootstrapping this entire business and just using their intellectual property and then obviously capitalizing on the revenue later, you've assembled a wonderful team. The past experience that they have on there looked really well. My only question is on the subscription, is the provider paying it or the patient?
Great question. So that's actually going to be at the program level. So basically how it works is the CRM would be used by the enrollment team, which we can kind of equate to the sales team really. And so it's going to be those members of their team. And so we're going to be targeting those larger PACE programs just because they have those larger teams, just because I'm also thinking about it as the number of centers. So right now there's about 384 centers for 194 programs. And so some of those programs already have multiple locations. And so really prioritizing those teams or making sure that those programs, like the larger programs, are being targeted first. But our goal is to really also make this affordable. So back to your point about our team. So we actually have those engineers that are listed. So they're actually building the back end right now. So that's actually saving us, as you can imagine, a lot on cost. And then on the front end side, we anticipate, or I'm already in talks and we've already identified a potential offshore company to do the front end, but we are in talks with another engineer who may be joining our venture just so they can also do the front end, just so we can kind of have that internally. And then our CFO, who's got great financial experience at the various financial companies in the industry.
That's super cool. The only last question I have is there's one provider that you said kind of checks all the boxes other than one for your competition. How do you financially stack up to them?
Great question. So in regards to all of our competitors, so I've looked, so the one I would say is probably our largest competitor is called SmartMD. So they're already in the industry, but one of the things that I've noticed, and this kind of goes back to how dated our portion of the healthcare industry is within that platform, there was an opportunity to have e-signatures. And so for me, e-signatures for older seniors who are also low income, so their socioeconomic level doesn't necessarily match up to the features that are being provided within that software. And so for me, for that specific platform, that individual doesn't have direct PACE experience. And so not only I've been consulting for the past 2 years, and then I've been in the PACE space in general for the past 5 years, including working in the enrollment department. So that experience where it was a startup. So, I mean, so when you're in a startup, you wear several different hats. And so in regards to just that one specific CRM, I'm not necessarily worried about the features that they have, but in regards to affordability, we are going to be a little bit more pricey in regards to the per seat because there are some organizations that just have that larger team. But of course, if we're looking at centers that have multiple centers above 15 people, then of course we'll kind of do more of a flat fee. I know for that particular CRM, he does based on census. And I also feel like that's not the best way to kind of go about it because you're almost penalizing organizations with their growth rather than kind of supplementing and being collaborative with their growth. So that's kind of just my perspective on that.
Thank you. We're good on time, but listen, I want to just thank you for identifying. You can tell this is from your heart and keeping seniors in your home. That resonated, and it resonates with a lot more people than you realize. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Melanie. And our final graduate student presentation is here on campus. Please welcome Ty Lowe, presenting on First Pass.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be in this room and amongst these wonderful, just brilliant entrepreneurs. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you for that. All right, I got practice with this one time yesterday, so hopefully I'll get it right. I'm wondering if you can figure out what these 3 movies have in common. They are good movies. I have another one for you. You can tell a lot about a society by its art, the health of that society. Today, our art is told in story form through cinema. And how many of you have ever spent more time in an evening actually looking for something to watch than watching something on movie night? Right? There's thousands of content, it's growing, there's no end in sight, and yet somehow we're finding a difficult time finding something that really resonates with us. Which is weird because Hollywood spends $1.5 billion every single year trying to find those proverbial diamonds in the haystack. They get at least 120,000 original screenplays every year that they have to weed through and only end up procuring about 50. Why? That's one of the things that these 3 movies had in common. They were almost lost gems. Every single one of these movies had a very hard time getting found. And how many other great movies actually never did get found? The problem is that all those agents, producers, filmmakers, screenwriters, all of those people are working together very hard trying to find that proverbial needle in that haystack, but it's difficult to find. And it takes millions of hours to do. So they either do it themselves or they pay someone to write what's called coverage, which is a book's report, essentially, for a screenplay. Only the problem is that it takes about 2.5 hours or so for each one of those to be done. It's subjective, it's difficult, it takes up a lot of time, and also It costs a lot of money and it's risky because it doesn't give you any data analysis about the predictability of that script. I know it's a really scary problem, but there is a solution. The solution is if we use specifically trained AI that knows how to find the stories with emotional appeal, combine that with sophisticated data analysis to find the movies that have a high probability of success, the ones we're going to love, the winners. I know that's a bold claim, so you're probably a little suspicious at this point. It makes sense because AI cannot feel. Feelings are chemicals. They're not intellect. So how then could AI actually do it? AI, until AI is biologically engineered, it's not going to be able to feel. However, if we were to codify that information, the way that emotions work inside of our bodies, the chemicals that come out, how they intermingle and switch around to create an experience for us, like I did with biology and healthcare 20 years ago, if we do that with emotions, then AI can read code and it can interpret those stories and find the ones that will resonate for us. Enter FirstPass, AI story coverage and analytics, story science, insights for green lights. Our original software, the MVP, is going to use a wrapper. A wrapper is essentially white labeling for tech. And what it does is it finds those stories that resonate, writes the professional coverage, provides data analytics, fundamentals, technicals, sentiment, historical analytics to predict the likelihood of success with that story, and find and identify for us the green lightable projects. It's using the user interface with the wrapper and doing the probability analytics, using neuroscience-based IP that I developed when I was in film school. The reason why to go now is AI adoption is upward trending, content is exploding, fractional options, but fractional options are available for sourcing. So we can use white labeling, we can use leasing of software and hardware, and we can use fractional options, including resources who are now very much working on fractions. The customer segments at this point are creatives. Those are the up and comings. Those are the film students. Those are the emerging writers, the professionals. Those are the agents, managers, studio executives, producers. The executives are the ones that are working in more volume than the individuals, and the enterprise. So that's the big scale stuff. So think like Universal Studios, Disney, Amazon, and of course schools. Our revenue model is geared exactly to each one of those tiers for the items that they need most, and model pricing is based on what those needs are. And so it scales up also. So we've got freemiums for the up-and-comers, $29.99, $2.99, and enterprise, which is based on their needs. The market opportunity is growing. Screenplay software alone is projected to be at $305 million spend per year by 2030. This would be part of that spend. That's a 17% growth rate, driven by 52% rise in demand and consumption of streaming content since 2013. Our year one goals are to get, so the actual market, the 2.6 million that we talked about, all of those professionals working today, those are the screenwriters, those are the filmmakers, the producers, agents, all of those working days, 2.6 million. That's in the US market alone, not worldwide, which would be exponentially larger. If we were to attract just 0.02% of that market, that would be 600 subscribers, which back of the napkin math would be about $200,000. However, we're going to have them at multiple tiers. That's at the 29 model. Since we're going to have multiple tiers, it'll actually be a little bit more than double that. The good news is that there is competition in the marketplace, and that's good news because it says that there's a good product market fit and there is a demand for the software. However, their customers' complaints list out aligned with some of the things that we're offering, because although they have the support to do the coverage, they're not doing the box office projections adequately, they're not giving enough, some of them aren't doing it at all. They don't have the story engine and the story science information. They certainly don't have RIP, and they're not doing that transformational and analytical approaches to add to the model. Our growth strategy is to reach those professionals and the up-and-coming professionals, both of them with short-form media content. That's where they hang out. That's where they thrive. That's where we'll thrive. We'll also be doing reaching the executives through long-form content. So there's going to be deep dive podcasts demonstrating the tool, how it works, and the big wins from it. And then for enterprise, we're going to do just B2B reach out. Our team is made up of me, the IP creator and the founder. I'm Ty Lowe. I'm currently getting my MBA, and I have an MFA in screenwriting. I also have over 2 years working in technical development and as the IT project manager. We're going to hyper-focus after that with Elizabeth on sales and marketing because we think that's critical to our growth. And then creative and social media, which is driven by the fact that most of our sales and marketing is going to be online. And if you want to see a sample of her work, check out the elevator pitch a little while because she is the producer and the editor of that. And then the full stack development. So we do need a front end user interface. We'll need a database for storing information, security, obviously, because we're going to be online, and interfacing. And then integrating our IP into it. Year one, our hyper-focus is going to get that MVP out with 600 subscribers. Our revenue goal for that is the $450,000 because, again, we're using the tiered approach instead of the 29. And then we want to get at least one enterprise client, even if it's a small one, just for brand recognition. Our financial projections then is to roll our investment and our revenue back into the company, being that we'll do a break even in the first year, and in the second year we should have a healthy growth. Our funding request is $100 just to kickstart all those efforts for the marketing and developing the MVP with the wrapper, and to help us reach those first 600 active users. The use of those funds almost exclusively dedicated to sales and marketing, research and development, where we're actually going to be looping directly with our first customers, our early adopters, to make sure that we prioritize their needs in the development. And then just a small carve out for admin and ops. Because with story science, you can get really good insights for green lights.
Okay, so with your, clearly you have a very good background in this field. I am not familiar with this field at all. So help me understand how this actually works. If I have a movie idea, I've got, screenplay or whatever that is, am I submitting it into this software? Or if I am an executive that is looking to produce movies, am I taking the things that I receive and feeding it into this?
That's a great question. Both cases are part of our use cases. So the individual writers can use this coverage to make sure their screenplay is ready to submit to Hollywood, take that feedback and do rewrites if they need to. However, the producers, the agents, the managers, the ones who are actually trying to get those movies made, they'll take those screenplays and pump them into the system also, and then they'll get the coverage. So right now, they're actually getting coverage. They're paying somebody. It takes about 2.5 hours. The average cost is about $100 per script. So they have a finite amount of scripts that they can go through to get the coverage, and then they go look at just the coverage and start deciding which ones they want. So it's sort of like an executive dashboard, but in book report form. So those producers would be able to expedite the process of sifting through all of the scripts that they're receiving, because they get spec scripts every day from people who are hoping to make movies, either from people who have already written scripts and had them sold, or from new people coming into the market.
So Ty, I saw the number of subscribers that you needed, but how many recurring paying subscribers will drive that growth that you're going to be counting on?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So initially, let's see. This one's kind of at the tail end. Okay, so initially what we're going to be doing is, obviously we want a subscription-based model.
Right.
So people will pay either the $29 or the $299 or the enterprise. However, oops, I lost it. No, I'll just tell you, never mind. Too much appendix. So initially what we're going to be doing is a lifetime founder. So our first 1,000, we have 1,000 max, but the first 1,000 sales, they can either just subscribe to the monthly, or they'll pay a one-time fee, and that'll give them unlimited coverage. That gives us $497 the first year from those. After that, we'll be hyper-focusing on getting just the recurring clients. Now, those people will get lifetime access. I've bought software this way myself before, and that will not change for them. However, there are going to be limits on volume, which they'll know up front, and it won't include upgraded features that come later on, which they might end up subscribing to.
Okay.
But one of the reasons why that's so important to us is because they'll be such loyal fans and they'll give us such great feedback. So we'll be able to pivot very quickly to make sure that our product is really in tune and we're not getting all those negative reviews that the other competitors are getting. And the competitors I showed on that slide are actually the top competitors in the industry right now.
Tyler, is First Pass get off the ground if AI doesn't make a motion in the next 10 years?
How do you mean?
If the AI doesn't grow to analyze emotions, then how is it going to correlate for First Pass's success?
Oh, that's a great question. It's already working. So I've already started putting some of my IP into my chat and building out examples from that. I actually have I had to put a little bit too much in my appendix, maybe. So I studied neuroscience when I was trying to figure out how the emotions work and the chemical lifespans and how you interact them. And I built a course one time on log lines alone. And I took my log line course, which is a little different than how Hollywood currently builds their log lines. But each one of these subjects goes into deep dive on the psychological makeup of individuals to create these log lines. And so I put that course in AI and had AI build me log lines. One of these was man-written, and one of them was my AI.
Now, of course, you and I share the same sentiments on good movies because we both like all three of those. However, you're teaching your engine what you like. However, somebody else may not like the three movies that you and I both like. So how can you counteract that emotional AI with what somebody else likes if they didn't teach your same engine?
That's a fantastic question. I'm not teaching it what I like. I'm teaching it the psychology and the chemistry of how chemicals are made. So basically, our emotions are built on chemicals. Testosterone creates aggression. Oxytocin creates attachment, right? So when those two are combined, if you put one in front of the other, you get a lot of aggression and protective and fight. If you put the other one first, you get a different type of like more romantic and endearing feelings. So what I've taught it is which chemicals line up to create which sequence of emotions, based partly on the half-life of each one of those chemicals, because each one of those chemicals has a different half-life. And what I found when I was researching in my screenplay course, when I was taking my master's degree, is that story impacts us. Watching something impacts us almost as deeply as the action happening to us directly. And so if you line them up in one way, almost everybody's going to have a very similar experience because of the chemicals. It's a chemical thing. So what AI is not doing is it's not looking at what my preferences are. What it's doing is looking at the chemical alignments that are stimulated by the scene, by the actions that are in those scenes. But the second part of your question about preferences is producers do have preferences on what type of content they're going to make. So in the producer level, in the executive level, they can actually start putting in the scripts along with their existing log lines or coverage, or the coverage they're getting back, and tweak it to actually make it more preferred to their style. So what I'm doing is the generic, just the biochemistry of it, and then they get to tailor it, which is another reason why they want to stay longer, is because once they've tailored it to be like their personality, then they'll know that those coverages aren't just reliable, but they're desirable to their preferences.
That IP is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating because you're hitting off of the chemicals hitting the pleasure center of the brain. And when you made reference to your neurological background, which is key because everyone is different, and it's how long, and people really don't understand how many businesses are built off of, even with video games, how much your pleasure center lights up, and they make money off of that. And this is a huge business. Thanks for tapping into that and bringing that here in your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you to everyone who presented, whether on campus or virtually. Several of you had to travel here today to be with us in person, and we want to recognize you all for coming today and taking the time to be with us this morning. At this time, the judges are going to retire to an undisclosed location with their scorecards, and they have a very tough job because I will say that these, from the first to the last, are the most solid presentations I have ever seen. Like, everyone just did a remarkable job today. So please give all of our finalists another round of applause. And what we're going to also do while they're retiring is recognize each of our finalists again one more time, because we have some goodie bags for you and a certificate of appreciation for being a finalist today. So Dr. McDaniel, can you grab the bags that should be in there? Thank you. So we're going to just go in order of the presenters today. So Paige, if you'll come up first. And I would ask that, if you can, please just stay up here, because we'll also take a group photo for those of you. For those of you that are online, we're going to put you on the big TV screen, and you will get your goodie bags by mail later. So. Caden. Grab two of them there. Hold on. Thank you. Zamoria. Jimmy. And Bridget. Great job. Thank you. Curtis. Non-video still hidden. Great job. Are the non-video presenters still hidden? Max had to leave. I know had to leave. Ty. Great job. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And Max and Melanie, if you can turn your videos back on so you'll be on the TV. I think we can switch it to the gallery. Okay. Great job, everyone. Again, thank you so much. We did a long rehearsal last night. They came in last night and ran through all of this. They've been great participants. We do a whole series of workshops throughout the semester. So I don't want you to think that this is something where they come up with an idea and we send a few emails back and forth and then they come and present. This is an entire investment that they make throughout. But also, again, thank you to the mentors who worked with them on this process. So everyone, again, round of applause before we break for lunch. So thank you. As I warn everyone, I never know how long the judges are going to take. So we say about 15 minutes, but if nothing else, go ahead and go get your lunch, because we'll start eating, and then once the judges are ready, we'll start the actual awards. All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Paige, founder of the Nurture Nook, a community initiative designed to support and empower mothers. Getting out with little ones is already stressful, but doing it as a breastfeeding mom felt near impossible. There's so many fun festivals and events that are constantly in the area, but many of them lack dedicated lactation spaces, making it difficult to find a clean changing table that isn't half broken, and my biggest need, a private space to breastfeed. As soon as a mother walks into the Nurture Nook, they feel seen, supported, and loved. And we partner with event coordinators that want to create these inclusive family experiences and build community through workshops. To make all of this possible, we have the perfect blend of rental fees, ticket sales, sponsorships, fundraisers, and donations. Our mission is simple: to nurture the nurturers, because families represent a vital part of the community and deserve proper accommodations. Join me in making every mother feel seen, supported, and loved, one nook at a time.
Hi, my name is Caden Mayu, a senior marketing major here at LSUS and the founder of Pedal Pursuits. I have always had a passion for flight and the freedom that it brings. However, with the cost of learning to fly and the amount of fuel that it consumes, I found this passion stifling. Thus, I set out to find a way to make flight free to everyone, and I have, through Pedal Pursuits. Here, we invent and distribute kits for an airplane that you can fly on your own, and all you need is a bicycle. Through extensive research and years of studying flight out of passion, as well as several flights I took, I believe it is possible to fly on our own power, free of regulations, fuel, and unnecessary cost. All that is required is a few minutes of assembly, then you are off to the skies. Done flying for the day? Pack it up and store it in your closet. It's that simple. I hope that the mission of Pedal Pursuits resonates with you and, if anything, that it inspires you to pick up your own passion and share it with others. Thank you for being here today to support us in creating our businesses.
Hi, my name is Zamaria Wesley, the owner and founder of Community Complex here in Shreveport, Louisiana. At Community Complex, we offer a multi-use space to host outside festivities inside, but without the worry of bugs, weather changes, and other factors that might hinder your outside enjoyment. This is ideal for young adults and families who are looking for that year-round fun. In addition, we will also be hosting our very own community events. Unlike Shreveport Aquarium and Altitude Trampoline Park, we offer individual rooms for classes, events, and other things that might cater to you. With our unique concept, we anticipate a high-profiting future due to our affordable entry tickets for individuals and families. I thought this might pique your interest because our complex is centered around community involvement and activities. If you'd like to learn more about Community Complex, head right on over to our website, www.communitycomplex.com. If you'd like to follow along with us, head over to our social medias at Community Complex. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Max Albrecht, and I'm the founder of Surprise, where birthdays meet imagination. Do you remember when toy stores felt magical? When walking through the aisles was an adventure, and picking the perfect gift was part of the fun? At Surprise, we're bringing that feeling back by combining a neighborhood toy store with an interactive birthday experience. That way, parents skip the stress, kids get the joy, and the community gets a place that celebrates imagination. But how does it actually work? Well, first, guests contribute online. Our team then curates toys and wraps them beautifully. So that way, when the big day arrives, the store can be transformed into a themed adventure powered by storytelling and a touch of AI magic. Every birthday then becomes a memory that families will talk about for years. And that's what business should be about, creating moments that matter. So connect with us today and join us in our mission to make birthdays more fun than ever.
What image comes to mind when you hear the word project? Let me guess, a construction site? Well, construction sites are indeed projects in progress, but I'd rather focus on things closer to home for most of us. Do you own a small business, a startup, or an organization? I'm going to guess you have either built or refurbished a physical space, installed or replaced equipment, launched a software program that impacts different aspects of your business. Well, all those are examples of projects. At Undo Project, our goal is to help businesses maintain their competitive advantage through effective project delivery. We achieve this within our platform using our AI-integrated, robust project management tool that helps businesses manage projects from the crucial initiation phase all the way to startup. Now, some companies utilize the project management tools that are currently existing, but those are not necessarily project-focused tools. They are customer relationship management tools and don't embody the full project management framework. And that's why you see most small businesses have projects that are over cost, over schedule, and not at the highest quality. I'm Chimi Bubu. I have almost 20 years of project management experience working in corporate America and also with startups. And I'm the founder of Undo Project. I look forward to helping you meet your financial goals and save money, plus serve the communities around you with my project management tool. Check out undoproject.com today. Thank you.
In Louisiana, we know what it means to gather. Good food, great company, and stories that last a lifetime. I'm Bridget, founder of Bayou Boxables, where eco-friendly meets family-friendly. Our glamping cabins are built from upcycled shipping containers, turning what once carried goods around the world into spaces that bring people together. Each themed cabin, from Pelican's Nest to Mardi Gras Mambo, celebrates the culture, color, and comfort of the bayou. Guests can fish at sunrise, cook under the stars, or just slow down and reconnect with the ones who matter most. With your support, we're creating a sustainable retreat that honors Louisiana's natural beauty while inspiring families to unplug and make memories that last. Bayou Boxables, where heart, home, and harmony meet.
Introducing the RX Connect app, the AI healthcare app designed to reinvent the healthcare experience. Finally, RX Connect aligns the patient, the doctor, and the pharmacy seamlessly, completely transforming the healthcare experience. Here's the problem we face today. Healthcare is complex, it's confusing for both the patient and the healthcare provider. With RX Connect, we aim to tackle some of healthcare's most common problems, such as high-cost prescriptions, navigating the complexities of insurance requirements, patient compliance, confusion with benefits, unused patient resources, and HCP and pharmacy knowledge gaps. Now, let's talk about the solution, the RX Connect solution, and how we plan to reinvent the healthcare experience. RX Connect, your AI healthcare companion, designed to guide you to lower costs, next steps, connect with in-network doctors, understand your benefits and your resources, and so much more. Be empowered and join us in upgrading the healthcare experience. Be part of the movement. Download the RX Connect app today, and we'll show you what the reinvented healthcare experience really looks like. Are you interested? A swift call to action for all motivated investors. We're asking for $400,000 in startup capital to ensure the precise execution through multiple revenue streams, with an aggressive growth projected in the first 2 years of launch. Be the catalyst for the RX Connect movement to redefine the healthcare experience and invest today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Capella, and I'm the founder of Centera. Our vision is to help healthcare programs increase healthcare access to seniors in our communities. Right now, these healthcare programs are using inefficient tools that weren't specifically made for PACE or tailored really to their programs. Because of this, sales teams are having difficulty understanding their opportunities, their current prospects, and their pipelines, and understanding how many have disenrolled and the reasons as to why. That's why we built Centera. Centera is looking to help these programs transform the way that they're using data. Every program should have the opportunity to understand the data from the initial contact all the way through enrollment and disenrollment. Within our first year, we anticipate a gradual growth. In year 2, we anticipate a larger growth just due to testimonials, potential pilot programs, and word of mouth, with a 50% growth in year 3. Our goal is to transform the way data is being used with these healthcare programs. There are so many seniors that need care currently that aren't receiving the proper care they need to age independently in their homes. Be part of the movement and help us support these PACE programs today. Thank you so much.
It's movie night and there's thousands of options and still nothing to watch. Why? When Hollywood spends $1.5 billion every year trying to find that blockbuster diamond in the proverbial haystack, but there are over 120,000 original scripts submitted every single year to Hollywood alone, and with each one taking about 2.5 hours to read and write coverage, that's millions of hours for studios, agents, producers, managers of time spent writing coverage, searching for a green-lightable script. At $40 per hour, that's about $100 per script to have your assistant shorten the timeline for you. Thousands per month for even the smallest of filmmakers. FirstPass is an AI solution that will read a script in seconds, write professional-grade coverage using our proprietary method for identifying emotionally appealing content, and then produce dashboard analytics to help predict the script's potential. I'm Tylo, the founder of FirstPass, an MBA candidate with an MFA in screenwriting and a 2-decade veteran in technical development. We're seeking $100,000 to fund the minimum viable product, which will white label an existing AI machine learning tool with our custom IP and unique front end to find our early adopters. And with only 600 monthly subscribers, those 2.6 million available in the US market alone, we can break even the first year. Hollywood needs to streamline the process, otherwise it might always feel like it's movie night and there's nothing to watch.
Hi, I'm Paige, founder of the Nurture Nook, a community initiative designed to support and empower mothers. Getting out with little ones is already stressful, but doing it as a breastfeeding mom felt near impossible. There's so many fun festivals and events that are constantly in the area, but many of them lack dedicated lactation spaces, making it difficult to find that quiet spot to calm a meltdown, a clean changing table that isn't half broken, and my biggest need, a private space to breastfeed. I started to feel isolated and unsupported, and like I couldn't attend any events, and I hated that moms had to feel this way. All of these feelings inspired the Nurture Nook, a private yet portable mother's room, able to be transported to any event so that moms have that space to nourish, refresh, and recharge so they can get back to the fun. The Nurture Nook is designed to be more than a space. It's a ministry of encouragement. As soon as a mother walks into the Nurture Nook, they feel seen, supported, and loved. And we partner with event coordinators that want to create these inclusive family experiences and build community through workshops. To make all of this possible, we have the perfect blend of rental fees, ticket sales, sponsorships, fundraisers, and donations. Our mission is simple: to nurture the nurturers, because families represent a vital part of the community and deserve proper accommodations. Join me in making every mother feel seen, supported, and loved, one nook at a time.
Hi, my name is Caden Mayu, a senior marketing major here at LSUS and the founder of Pedal Pursuits. I have always had a passion for flight and the freedom that it brings. However, with the cost of learning to fly and the amount of fuel that it consumes, I found this passion stifled. Thus, I set out to find a way to make flight free to everyone, and I have. through Pedal Pursuits. Here, we invent and distribute kits for an airplane that you can fly on your own, and all you need is a bicycle. Through extensive research and years of studying flight out of passion, as well as several flights I took, I believe it is possible to fly on our own power, free of regulations, fuel, and unnecessary cost. All that is required is a few minutes of assembly, then you are off to the skies. Done flying for the day? Pack it up and store it in your closet. It's that simple. I hope that the mission of Pedal Pursuits resonates with you and, if anything, that it inspires you to pick up your own passion and share it with others. Thank you for being here today to support us in creating our businesses.
Hi, my name is Zamaria Wesley, the owner and founder of Community Complex here in Shreveport, Louisiana. At Community Complex, we offer a multi-use space to host outside festivities inside, but without the worry of bugs, weather changes, and other factors that might hinder your outside enjoyment. This is ideal for young adults and families who are looking for that year-round fun. In addition, we will also be hosting our very own community events. Unlike Shreveport Aquarium and Altitude Trampoline Park, we offer individual rooms for classes, events, and other things that might cater to you. With our unique concept, we anticipate a high-profiting future due to our affordable entry tickets for individuals and families. I thought this might pique your interest because our complex is centered around community involvement and activities. If you'd like to learn more about Community Complex, head right on over to our website, www.communitycomplex.com. If you'd like to follow along with us, head over to our social medias at Community Complex. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Max Albrecht, and I'm the founder of Surprise, where birthdays meet imagination. Do you remember when toy stores felt magical? When walking through the aisles was an adventure, and picking the perfect gift was part of the fun? At Surprise, we're bringing that feeling back by combining a neighborhood toy store with an interactive birthday experience. That way, parents skip the stress, kids get the joy, and the community gets a place that celebrates imagination. But how does it actually work? Well, first, guests contribute online. Our team then curates toys and wraps them beautifully. So that way, when the big day arrives, the store can be transformed into a themed adventure powered by storytelling and a touch of AI magic. Every birthday then becomes a memory that families will talk about for years. And that's what business should be about, creating moments that matter. So connect with us today and join us in our mission to make birthdays more fun than ever.
What image comes to mind when you hear the word project? Let me guess, a construction site? Well, construction sites are indeed projects in progress, but I'd rather focus on things closer to home for most of us. Do you own a small business, a startup, or an organization? I'm going to guess you have either built or refurbished a physical space, installed or replaced equipment, launched a software program that impacts different aspects of your business. Well, all those are examples of projects. At Undo Project, our goal is to help businesses maintain their competitive advantage through effective project delivery. We achieve this within our platform using our AI-integrated, robust project management tool that helps businesses manage projects from the crucial initiation phase all the way to startup. Now, some companies utilize the project management tools that are currently existing, but those are not necessarily project-focused tools. They are customer relationship management tools and don't embody the full project management framework. And that's why you see most small businesses have projects that are over cost, over schedule, and not at the highest quality. I'm Chimi Bubu. I have almost 20 years of project management experience working in corporate America and also with startups, and I'm the founder of Undo Project. I look forward to helping you meet your financial goals and save money, plus serve the communities around you with my project management tool. Check out undoproject.com today. Thank you.
In Louisiana, we know what it means to gather. Good food, great company, and stories that last a lifetime. I'm Bridget, founder of Value Boxables, where eco-friendly meets family-friendly. Our glamping cabins are built from upcycled shipping containers, turning what once carried goods around the world into spaces that bring people together. Each themed cabin, from Pelican's Nest to Mardi Gras Mambo, celebrates the culture, color, and comfort of the bayou. Guests can fish at sunrise, cook under the stars, or just slow down and reconnect with the ones who matter most. With your support, we're creating a sustainable retreat that honors Louisiana's natural beauty while inspiring families to unplug and make memories that last. Bayou Boxables, where heart, home, and harmony meet.
Using the RX Connect app, the AI healthcare app designed to reinvent the healthcare experience. Finally, RX Connect aligns the patient, the doctor, and the pharmacy seamlessly, completely transforming the healthcare experience. Here's the problem we face today. Healthcare is complex, it's confusing for both the patient and the healthcare provider. With RX Connect, we aim to tackle some of healthcare's most common problems, such as high-cost prescriptions, navigating the complexities of insurance requirements, patient compliance, confusion with benefits, unused patient resources, and HCP and pharmacy knowledge gaps. Now, let's talk about the solution, the RX Connect solution, and how we plan to reinvent the healthcare experience. RX Connect, your AI healthcare companion, designed to guide you to lower costs, next steps, connect with in-network doctors, understand your benefits and your resources, and so much more. Be empowered and join us in upgrading the healthcare experience. Be part of the movement. Download the RX Connect app today, and we'll show you what the reinvented healthcare experience really looks like. Are you interested? A swift call to action for all motivated investors. We're asking for $400,000 in startup capital to ensure the precise execution through multiple revenue streams, with an aggressive growth projected in the first 2 years of launch. Be the catalyst for the RX Connect movement to redefine the healthcare experience and invest today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Capella, and I'm the founder of Centera. Our vision is to help healthcare programs increase healthcare access to seniors in our communities. Right now, these healthcare programs are using inefficient tools that weren't specifically made for PACE or tailored really to their programs. Because of this, sales teams are having difficulty understanding their opportunities, their current prospects, and their pipelines, and understanding how many have disenrolled and the reasons as to why. That's why we built Centera. Centera is looking to help these programs transform the way that they're using data. Every program should have the opportunity to understand the data from the initial contact all the way through enrollment and disenrollment. Within our first year, we anticipate a gradual growth. In year 2, we anticipate a larger growth just due to testimonials, potential pilot programs, and word of mouth, with a 50% growth in year 3. Our goal is to transform the way data is being used with these healthcare programs. There are so many seniors that need care currently that aren't receiving the proper care they need to age independently in their homes. Be part of the movement and help us support these PACE programs today. Thank you so much.
It's movie night and there's thousands of options and still nothing to watch. Why? When Hollywood spends $1.5 billion every year trying to find that blockbuster diamond in the proverbial haystack. But there are over 120,000 original scripts submitted every single year to Hollywood alone. And with each one taking about 2.5 hours to read and write coverage, that's millions of hours for studios, agents, producers, managers of time spent writing coverage, searching for a green-lightable script. At $40 per hour, that's about $100 per script to have your assistant shorten the timeline for you. thousands per month for even the smallest of filmmakers. FirstPass is an AI solution that will read a script in seconds, write professional-grade coverage using our proprietary method for identifying emotionally appealing content, and then produce dashboard analytics to help predict the script's potential. I'm Tylo, the founder of FirstPass, an MBA candidate with an MFA in screenwriting and a 2-decade veteran in technical development. We're seeking $100,000 to fund the minimum viable product, which will white label an existing AI machine learning tool with our custom IP and unique front end to find our early adopters. And with only 600 monthly subscribers, those 2.6 million available in the US market alone, we can break even the first year. Hollywood needs to streamline the process, otherwise it might always feel like it's movie night and there's nothing to watch.
Hi, I'm Paige, founder of the Nurture Nook, a community initiative designed to support and empower mothers. Getting out with little ones is already stressful, but doing it as a breastfeeding mom felt near impossible. There's so many fun festivals and events that are constantly in the area, but many of them lack dedicated lactation spaces, making it difficult to find that quiet spot to calm a meltdown, a clean changing table that isn't half broken, and my biggest need, a private space to breastfeed. I started to feel isolated and unsupported, and like I couldn't attend any events, and I hated that moms had to feel this way. All of these feelings inspired the Nurture Nook, a private yet portable mother's room, able to be transported to any event so that moms have that space to nourish, refresh, and recharge so they can get back to the fun. The Nurture Nook is designed to be more than a space. It's a ministry of encouragement. As soon as a mother walks into the Nurture Nook, they feel seen, supported, and loved. And we partner with event coordinators that want to create these inclusive family experiences and build community through workshops. To make all of this possible, we have the perfect blend of rental fees, ticket sales, sponsorships, fundraisers, and donations. Our mission is simple: to nurture the nurturers, because families represent a vital part of the community and deserve proper accommodations. Join me in making every mother feel seen, supported, and loved, one nook at a time.
Hi, my name is Caden Mayu, a senior marketing major here at LSUS and the founder of Pedal Pursuits. I have always had a passion for flight and the freedom that it brings. However, the cost of learning to fly and the amount of fuel that it consumes, I found this passion stifling. Thus, I set out to find a way to make flight free to everyone, and I have, through Pedal Pursuits. Here, we invent and distribute kits for an airplane that you can fly on your own, and all you need is a bicycle. Through extensive research and years of studying flight out of passion, as well as several flights I took, I believe it is possible to fly on our own power, free of regulations, fuel, and unnecessary cost. All that is required is a few minutes of assembly, then you are off to the skies. Done flying for the day? Pack it up and store it in your closet. It's that simple. I hope that the mission of Pedal Pursuits resonates with you and, if anything, that it inspires you to pick up your own passion and share it with others. Thank you for being here today to support us in creating our businesses.
Hi, my name is Zamaria Wesley, the owner and founder of Community Complex here in Shreveport, Louisiana. At Community Complex, we offer a multi-use space to host outside festivities inside, but without the worry of bugs, weather changes, and other factors that might hinder your outside enjoyment. This is ideal for young adults and families who are looking for that year-round fun. In addition, we will also be hosting our very own community events. Unlike Shreveport Aquarium and Altitude Trampoline Park, we offer individual rooms for classes, events, and other things that might cater.
Are we back on? Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. It takes longer to write on those big checks than you realize, so it takes a minute. Again, I want to thank our judges in particular, because this is a huge time commitment and they have really tough decisions to make. So thank you to Amanda, to Mario, Julie, and Terry for joining us today. And again, thank you to the mentors who just spent an incredible amount of time working with these students, and to Mike McDaniel for running 4 of these workshops, in addition to the mentorship that the students got. So, and to William, by the way, who I did not give a shout out to earlier. William comes to every single one of those, and we do too, because we do them in person here for the on-campus students, and then we also do one in the evening for the online students so that they can participate virtually. So he deserves a much bigger shout out than I gave him today. So, okay, so just a rundown of the prizes. And so, of course, we have 2 divisions. We have an undergraduate division and we have a graduate division. All of our finalists receive a certificate from LSUS Continuing Education for any course up to $500. They have a wide breadth of courses for varying interests, from human resources, marketing, management, analytics, and other non-business courses. What we will do is we will announce the second runner-up in the undergraduate division, and then the first runner-up, and then the winner of the undergraduate division. And then we will do the graduate division, second runner-up, first runner-up, and then the winner. So we do have a big check for the winner, and these very lovely glass prizes that I feel bad because I maul and they get my fingerprints all over them, but they are lovely. So. All right, I know you're not really here to hear me blab on about the prizes, so let's get to the meat. All right, undergraduate division. Our second runner-up receives also 6 months of consulting services with EAP and a cash prize of $500. And the second runner-up in the undergraduate division is Community Complex. Normally the chancellor would be here. I guess I should mention that. The chancellor would normally be here to shake hands and thank you all for participating. He is currently with the LSUS Foundation in Germany, so he's not able to be here today. So you get me. The first runner-up also receives 6 months of consulting services with EAP and a cash prize of $1,000. And the first runner-up in the undergraduate division is Pedal Pursuits. And when you only have 3 finalists, you kind of automatically now know who won the grand prize. So the winner of Pilot Pitch 2025 undergraduate division also received 6 months of consulting services and a cash prize of $3,000. The winner of the Pilot Pitch 2025 undergraduate division is the Nurture Nook. Quite gotten the game show thing down yet, where I put the check up with a blanket over it. Another round of applause for our undergraduate finalists. Thank you. All right, now on to our graduate division. Yep. I know, I think I'd just be carrying that big check around with me all day for the rest of the day. The second runner-up in the graduate division also receives 6 months of consulting services with EAP and a cash prize of $500. And the second runner-up in the graduate division is Centera.
Thank you.
The first runner-up receives 6 months of consulting services with EAP and a cash prize of $1,000. The first runner-up in the graduate division is Bayou Boxables. And the winner of Pilot Pitch 2025, the graduate division, receives 6 months of consulting services with EAP and a cash prize of $3,000. The winner of Pilot Pitch 2025 in the graduate division is, surprise.
Wow. Thank you so much.
So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to hold up the check by the TV screen so that we can at least get a picture of you with your check.
Sounds good.
Again, congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I know I've said it a number of times today, but I want to tell you that in conversations around the room, like the pitches today were just absolutely phenomenal. And I hope that you continue to pursue these or your next business venture. Take the feedback that you got from the judges and make them even stronger. Take advantage of the resources that they have available to you. There are other competitions also that you are eligible to participate in. So it would be neglectful for me if I didn't mention the Pelican Cup, which happens in the spring. And last year, our graduate winner teamed up with one of our undergraduate finalists, and they won second place and $25,000 in the Pelican Cup over at ULM in Monroe. LSU also has a Venture Cup that they do. So reach out to Dr. McDaniel if you're interested in pursuing any of those opportunities. Since you have met each other and know each other's strengths, if you need to create a team, we can connect you, and we're happy to do so. We're happy to continue to support you as much as we can. This does not mean that we are done with you. So if any of you are also graduating soon, I hope to see you at graduation. It's going to be here before we know it. So again, thank you everyone for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you all so much.
And eat more
Thanks,
food.
everyone.